Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the MCU and Me podcast. This is me, Air, known as your boy Dickface on Twitter, Instagram. I should probably change that soon.
Probably.
And my buddy Keaton.
Hello, that's me.
Also known as Defend the End on Twitter. Give him a follow. Yeah. DJ Dad Sweater on Instagram.
I don't think that's public, but okay.
Anyways. So we're going to be doing phase 3 of the MCU movies. We're either going to be...
MCU movies?
Is that what I said?
Something like that.
MCU movies. We're either going to be knocking them out all in one session, which I don't really recommend.
We are.
Because I don't think anybody's going to listen to a 3-hour podcast.
We don't know how long it'll be.
We'll see what we do. Anyways, we're starting
You'll see the timer.
We'll start off with Captain America, Civil War.
Because we've seen all of phase 3.
Right.
Because Endgame is literally...
Right,
2 or 3 days away.
We're a little late on this, but hey, goddamn it, we're gonna do it.
Yes.
Okay, we're almost to the end of the line. We're in the end game as of right now, and so we're gonna be discussing Captain America: Civil War, first movie of Phase 3.
Captain America: Civil War, the first Avenger, Winter Soldier,
2016. You know, I remember whenever they announced this movie too. They announced it under the title Serpent Society.
Yes, that was to fuck with people because everyone was expecting Civil War because Tony Stark already got announced for it, so they just wanted to fuck with people.
Yeah, I remember hearing that announcement. And we were all like, I guess.
Did you know this movie also scared away Batman versus Superman from its initial launch?
Yep.
Because they were going to try to compete and they kind of tried to play chicken, and then DC was like, nah, fam, we out. And then they moved it to like wherever they did.
Yeah, okay, so undoubtedly in this movie, there's going to be a lot of comparisons.
To Batman versus...
look, honestly, when you think about it...
Civil War, a.k.a. Avengers 2.5.
Stop. Everybody calls it that. This is very much an intimate Captain America story that just happens to have a lot of other people in it.
That just so happens to be an Avengers sequel.
Look,
not to say that's a bad thing, because if you go into it with the expectation and the understanding of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, especially the Avengers movie, namely Ultron, this movie's, you're still going to understand it generally, you know? I think. I love this movie.
No, for the most part, it is pretty much Avengers 2.5, but yeah.
It's also a Winter Soldier part 2.
Yeah,
Which
that's
what they wanted it to be.
Which acts as a direct sequel, you know? I can't lie. This was probably my favorite MCU movie at the time it came out, but I have disliked it more so over the years. Not disliked it, but I don't like it as much as...
I still love it. Honestly, it was definitely my favorite when it came out, period. Because watching this after like Ant-Man came out, and like I think Ant-Man was one of my favorite movies when it came out, and then fucking Civil War, bro, it doesn't compare.
No, it's not. It's still like, look, in all things considered, it's pretty amazing still. It's just mainly the reason why is because when Batman v Superman came out, I remember I shat on that movie for so long because I fucking hated it. And then I realized, like, because most of the plot elements for the most part are kind of similar. The villain?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Beyond the fact that it's a smart in universe person, not saying Lex Luthor is a smart villain.
You got a villain
pitting the heroes against each other for some sort of end goal, which is ultimately to destroy each other. I guess it's been a long time since I watched Batman vs Superman.
Yeah, pretty much.
Except this movie beats it in a lot in aspects because it has build up. It's a continuation because Batman vs Superman was also a follow-up to Civil War, or not Civil War, it was follow-up to Man of Steel.
Yeah.
And this is a follow-up to Winter Soldier's storyline, you know, not really even connected to the first movie. There are some tie-ins, I guess, but not as much as like Winter Soldier.
No, I mean, it's still better by all means.
Of course.
But it's just more so, actually, you know what?
For the sake of comparison?
I think I retract that statement because honestly, the only thing I don't like is Zemo's plan. Well, I like it, but when you really get down to it, there's a lot of plot holes in it. No. You know, like it relies on a lot of conveniences.
No.
Okay, you're right. Never mind. Sorry.
I think Zemo is a pretty good villain overall.
No, he's a good villain.
They keep it relatively vague. The Russos are really good at keeping intrigue up throughout the entire thing. Because ultimately, this could have been just a really...
Mission report.
It could have ultimately been like a really straightforward Batman vs Superman type movie where like the The setup's really basic.
Well,
they're kind of just mad at each other for no reason. Because ultimately, Zemo didn't technically have to be in this. The Accords could have theoretically been enough to just make them fight.
Yeah.
But they didn't do that. They set up with the red herrings, and kind of getting into spoilers with Zemo's plan. Mm-hmm. The red herrings that Russo's put in there with the other Winter Soldiers, they're fucking brilliant. Because you think that's going to be the thing that unites the Avengers again. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, it's just Zemo, fucking with people.
No, but here's the thing. Like, for example, no. You know what? We'll just go in order.
As far as the movie, what do you want to talk about first? The cat. I think the setup's pretty well.
You know, speaking of this scene, what a waste.
You can't just say this scene, dude.
Oh,
the beginning part of the movie.
Yeah, I was gonna describe it. I was about to describe it for the viewer.
What's a waste? Crossbones specifically,
yes,
or
Crossbones? That is still. I maintain that as a complete waste of what.
I think that was kind of the point, was that to have Crossbones in the movie, because for those who don't know, in the Civil War comic book, Crossbones is the person who kills Captain America at the end of that storyline. Yeah, which I almost expected to happen. To be honest, because there were early specs of Infinity War where Captain America was dead at the beginning.
Those are like what?
Like Avengers 3 was supposed to start with Captain America dead and Thor in prison somewhere.
Captain America 3.
This was super, like when
start with him being dead.
No, not Captain America 3. Oh. Avengers 3.
Oh.
So like Infinity War.
Oh, okay.
It was supposed to start with Captain America dead. That's what was rumored by like sources. I don't know. It was around 2016, so it's hard to say how much of that's really true.
I remember because it was rumored they filmed a funeral scene.
Oh,
they just didn't say for who.
Well, I don't know. Well, that did happen. I think Crossbones is also a red herring to throw off the comic book people, while the Winter Soldier like tie-in was more so to throw everyone off, if that makes any sense.
No, yeah, but also another thing is this one, it's really not Civil War like at all. It's kind of in name only. I mean, for the most part, yeah, Sokovia Accords, but like the elements of what caused Civil War are there, but it's not like the story in any sense like at all.
It would have been interesting to see like. The real setup for Civil War is way too dark for a movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
A Disney movie. Because for those who don't know, in the Civil War comic book, the thing that ignites the Accords or Superhero Registration Act, which is the comic book version kind of this, is that some amateur superheroes are like trying to fight a villain.
Yeah, they're filming like a reality TV show.
Yeah, it's like a reality TV show, but it's like a bunch of amateur heroes, and they come across a guy whose like power is to fucking explode.
Yeah, yeah.
And they don't fight him in a proper way, and he blows up an entire elementary school.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's super dark.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it is some shit that would make you go like.
And the main part of that storyline is for the Registration Act, so it's more so to make sure that superheroes have to reveal their identities is the main thing. I'm not too familiar. I didn't read the comic book. Did you?
I have it.
You have it? Have you read it?
For the most part.
For the most part, he says.
Little. Okay.
One of the very few Marvel comics I've actually read it, like storyline wise, like universe stuff is like Marvel Zombies, which is like super basic ass stuff, and it's never gonna happen.
Hey, no,
they'll never do Marvel Zombies. They will. They never will.
They said they would never do the Avengers, and look at where we are now.
They never said that.
They did.
I don't recall them ever saying that. Ever.
Look, anyway, it's still, even though it's kind of a red herring, I think it's still a waste of what could have been a potential badass character. They just killed him off in the beginning, which is kind of like we spent all that time on this dude just for him to be killed off, like in the first couple minutes.
But in a sense, he still does cause the events of Civil War by fucking with Captain America's head.
Well,
which in turn makes
a lot of people compare that to the Martha scene.
No,
because they say Captain America
because Bucky's a relevant character to Captain America's storyline and not just a name. That's like if Bucky's name was like John. And he was like, "Ha, John," and then he was like, "Oh, I just heard the name John and just lost it." That'd be different, but no. Bucky's a relevant character in Captain America's whole storyline throughout Winter Soldier and Civil War. Is Captain America kind of trying to hold on to the past of his best friend, and to an extent, kind of ignoring his friends in the present at the same time, which we'll get into that later, I guess.
Either way, still a waste.
All right,
They
so
just not had that.
So Scarlet Witch blows up a building that just so happens to have Wakandans in it.
Right? No, it was like wasn't
no, Wakandans were in it. I
Oh,
think
yeah,
they're
that's
on like an outreach program or something like that.
So she killed people, right?
Yeah, she straight up blows up a building with people in it.
Damn,
That's
I'm just realizing that.
why are you just now realizing that, Eric?
It just hit me.
That's the whole point of this movie. Eric.
It's been 3 years.
Eric.
I don't know. It just kind of like, oh, okay, a building exploded. Yeah.
No, she killed people.
Oh, damn, that's crazy. She must feel like shit.
Hence her character arc for the movie, Eric. Wow.
Oh, that's true. Hey, oh my god. You know, okay.
And why they keep her inside? Because she'd probably be attacked or they're afraid of blowing people up.
Wow. Okay, you know what? This movie's getting better.
Eric's crazy. And he's about to see. Oh, we just saw the explosion on this camera.
Oh my!
This is why Captain America is so scared.
Good. Okay. Yeah. That's.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that's why Black Panther's mad.
Oh, that's
or more so Black Panther's dad is mad.
That's bad all around. Oh.
Anyway,
they fucking killed people.
Yes,
Holy
they
shit.
straight up killed some Wakandans. So yeah.
Oh wow, she really sells the scene too.
Yes, and yet you never realized that she killed people.
I think I realized it just didn't hit me, you know?
So Scarlet. So moving on to that a little bit, Well, I do want to talk about Scarlet Witch's character in this because this is her first time being seen after Avengers 1. Mm-hmm. What do you think of? And I guess it kind of ties into Scarlet Witch and Iron Man being the villain. How do you feel about this as a Winter Soldier sequel for somebody who only watched the Captain America movies? Like, how do you think? Do you sympathize with those people, or do you think, and they'd probably get it?
What do you mean? By sympathize,
okay, so you say you watch Winter Soldier, you have a vague idea of who the Starks are, you have a vague idea of what S.H.I.E.L.D. is. Mm-hmm. You know who Scarlett Johansson, aka Black Widow. Mm-hmm. You know who she is. Now in this movie, the entire Avengers cast is here.
Yeah.
Sam Wilson's there. He was there before. Tony Stark is there. Howard Stark's there. Mm-hmm. Different actor. Tony Stark, who has never really been barely mentioned in the second movie.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, it ties into that whole. It is kind of like an Avengers 2.5 thing, you know.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I mean, you know, does kind of. Because I'd be just a hypocrite if I was trying to defend that. Because, I mean, it is kind of like, yeah, you'd be like, who the fuck is the Vision? Who the fuck is...
Oh, yeah, Vision's probably the weirdest one.
Yeah, like, and who the hell is...
Lyle McDouchebag, or Lyle Rath as he's known now, he put out a video about it. And he said that this is probably one of the first few movies that's going to fail the My Dad test.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a test of if your dad can go see the movie and get a general idea of what the movie's about.
No, I think this one actually is probably the first one where they went, okay, at this point...
It's universe-based.
If you haven't seen the rest of the movies, like, that's on you. Like, no, because up until then, each movie could have worked as a, like... You know, if this is your first movie, you get a general idea, but you don't feel too left out. You know, you're not relying on anything else. I remember hearing them say, the Russo brothers, that at this point, like, yeah, this is kind of one of those, like, you know, you're either along.
It's a reward. Yeah, it's a reward for the people who have
seen
it. You know
especially,
what I mean?
Yeah, because it's whether you've been sticking with it or get left behind. You know, that kind of thing at this point.
Yeah,
which I mean,
I get it, and that's why
it's part of a new, like, before you would just base a sequel off of, like, how does it improve upon the story, which now it does, but it can also include some other universal elements.
It's supposed to have a huge effect on the movie whenever Infinity War rolls around, which is canonically like the next Avengers thing to happen.
Yeah,
to mine. Yeah, that I can immediately think of. Because after this, the next Avengers thing is Ragnarok, which is ultimately not too effective of Earth. I'm trying to think. I mean, there's the one-off stories, but those ultimately don't have anything to do with it. So, really...
Yeah, this is...
That's kind of getting into the ending.
Also, this is like, I think the first time we see them, like, working as a team, like, on a
just doing a mission. Well, they kind of do it in the beginning of Ultron.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's true. But, I mean... I don't know, because up until then, I remember thinking, like, we only really get a sense that the Avengers work together when, like, there's, like, an immediate...
A big thing. And they kind of do. like they only got together in the Age of Ultron just to kind of do stuff, but that was kind of the setup at the end of Ultron was, hey, Captain America is going to make his own Avengers team that doesn't really require setup because it's mostly made of sidekicks and Avengers movie exclusive characters like Scarlet Witch and Vision, I guess. So I don't know if that shows up on the mic. So anyway, Tony Stark's in this movie. How do you feel about his character arc?
Hey, we just, I don't know. I think it improves upon it too. Although, it just, continues his arc. I mean, I think it's...
Well, the thing is, so his movie arc ended, in my opinion, with Iron Man 3. His character arc ended to an extent, and he's pretty much a character with an overall arc, and this is more so a second arc that I think started with Avengers Age of Ultron.
Okay, that's fair.
Which had really overall pretty garbage development in Ultron. Yeah. But this movie kind of capitalizes on the effects that Ultron had on the universe by making Tony Stark guilty. Mm-hmm. And, they kind of go hard on it whenever they have like the mom saying like, hey, you killed my son. Yeah. Who's going to avenge him? Which, if you think about it, they did because they killed Ultron. But true. They kind of hammer it home.
But also another thing is,
well, one thing. Okay, I think I've heard a lot of people say that like Captain America's side has no merit, but I've also
what do you mean merit?
Like, Tony Stark's like an asshole. His side is like not valid. But I've actually like watched other videos and people say the exact opposite. That Captain America's side has no merit, which is like, I guess it kind of worked out.
I mean, look, this is the one thing I think, especially that, this movie had over Batman v Superman. Because, if you remember the marketing, it was between both movies, it was kind of like who will win.
Yeah, it's all the posters are always them side by side facing each other.
Yeah, and so with Batman v Superman, it was really just kind of like there was really not much depth to it. It's just a matter of like, the age old question of could Batman really beat Superman? Like, he's Batman. That's it.
And they turned that concept into a movie.
Yeah, and this movie actually kind of explores like you could have a discussion about it. I'm not gonna lie, I'm in the minority where like I can completely see where Tony's coming from, because I mean, if you think about it in the real world, if there was dudes that could say like even like the X-Men, like I would be scared.
If someone like Superman could rip off the roof of the White House and steal the president, what are we gonna do? I'm probably fucking up that quote.
Suicide.
What are we, some sort of suicide squad?
And literally none of them could have even done that. Captain Boomerang. Okay, well, all right. Look, that's a different thing, but really,
DCEU
and me could have been. Come on, like.
All right. So, do you think that both sides have merit?
Yeah, of course.
In this kind of movie,
look, because on the one hand, Cap is right. Usually, the people in charge, they can be corrupt. And they can make
like Hydra. He literally has hands-on experience, and it kind of ties into his past, what he's done before. And of like he did that before, and then it was Hydra who ended up being in control.
Right, and then also, I mean, again, it's it goes in line with the moral thing, I think, because the law isn't always the morally correct choice, and so I see where he's coming from, but at the same time, Tony, I mean, like, hey, if there was a Hulk, in our world, like, hey, man, I want to have somebody to have him in check, because that's pretty terrifying.
But in theory, that's supposed to be what the Avengers are already, and that's where Captain America's side comes in. Mm-hmm. So I'm of the mindset that Captain America is right, and the Avengers could theoretically be like, what the fuck are you going to do if we don't? Mm-hmm. If the Avengers all decided.
Yeah. I mean, so I think they both have merit. Whether, like, there's some... Well, also another thing right now, like, for example, we're watching a scene where they're having like the montage
of the destruction scenes from past movies,
which is literally.
I've also heard people complain about this, looking back on it, where they say there's only one of those scenarios that was actually their fault. Because they show New York, which is Loki's fault. Loki tried to invade and they saved the day. Yeah. They showed DC where Hydra tried to attack the world and Captain America stopped them.
That was quite literally them. Like that was not the Avengers.
Well, that was the government, not S.H.I.E.L.D.
Well, yeah.
And then Sokovia, which is ultimately Iron Man and by extension the Avengers' fault. That's the only one that really has merit. But a lot of people,
also,
at least a few people have pointed out that I watched have said that like, yeah, that's not our fucking fault. That's what they should have said.
No, I mean, even the New York one, like, that wasn't their fault, you know? I mean, sure, they were a little...
Yes, people died and Hulk killed some people in the footage. But ultimately, like, you know... You think that they would have at least acknowledged it in universe by somebody on the Captain America side said, hey, that wasn't our fault.
Yeah, you know, even just a line, because, I mean, most of it is Tony's fault.
Just Ultron. Yeah, Ultron was specifically.
Yeah, and so, because I remember Tony says a line, like, someone's got to keep us in check. And I just remember seeing a lot of memes at the time going, like, this is your fault, man. We're just fixing your problems. Like, you're the one fucking up here. Like, we're literally just getting blamed for it. I think there's a couple of other, like, character choices that, you know, are a little, like, for example, Natasha, you know?
Yeah.
It is a little weird that she would be on Iron Man's team.
Well, that's the thing is she's kind of playing... She's... ultimately what everyone's trying to be, which is on the side of her friends. So that's why she goes back and forth multiple times. So she does show a bit of character depth and trying to be like the mediator.
No, and also
why she actually shows up to the summit and meets with Black Panther, T'Challa.
Well, I figured it was just because of her past, and she's trying to kind of in a way make up for that by being more cautious or something. I don't know.
Well, I think it's also like part of her character arc from Winter Soldier where she's like, I'm in the light now. I have responsibilities, I guess, to own up for it, and be more responsible. Because I think thinking back, I think she actually says a line about like taking orders from Hydra the whole time.
Yeah.
So getting into that,
kind of unwind.
Anyway, you're talking about the clip from Zemo kicking some guy's ass.
Oh, no, I'm just saying in general, there's a lot to this movie, you know?
Oh, God, yeah. We were hoping to get these all under 20 minutes, but I knew Civil War would be a longer one.
Yeah.
So we kind of get into the Black Widow and the Accord situation, which kind of brings into Black Panther, T'Challa, which is his first viewing before his own movie. The first time he shows up, he has his own character arc in this movie, which is a great character arc.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Arguably, possibly better than the arc in his own movie.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean,
you could feasibly say it's rushed, and kind of just put in here, but I personally love the pacing of this movie, and I think it's great.
No,
some people say it's boring up until the airport scene, which I totally disagree with, and I say you're not paying attention to the movie.
Yeah, at that point, you're not really that interested, you know, which... I mean, that's just a personal thing.
I think people were just expecting it to be like a punch fest when it's it's like an intrigue movie still.
No, yeah. I mean,
for sometimes it still has like action hero parts because you have a bunch of superheroes fighting each other throughout the movie. It's not just the airport.
Well, also, again, there is still a lot. Like I'd say, this is before Infinity War. This is probably the busiest movie too. You know, like
it's back to back stuff.
Yeah, because like right now, we're watching Zemo and like his beginning, and then again, there's setup for.
Black Panther, Spider-Man.
Oh man,
we gotta talk about the characters that get introduced in this movie. Ant-Man's also in here for the first time.
Oh yeah.
At least it's the first time he interacts with the Avengers on a bigger scale.
Yeah, weirdly enough, this was like the next movie, right? Yeah,
yes, this is really at the end of the day, this is an Ant-Man sequel if you think about it. for the one part that he shows up for, risks his entire livelihood, family.
Plot of the last movie.
Well, actually, I just watched Ant-Man and the Wasp before recording, finishing that up, and he does say like, "Hey, they told me it was a matter of national security. I had to go." So that's why they explain it. Ant-Man and the Wasp came out 2 years after Civil War, so they had time to kind of think of an excuse to make for it. So Ant-Man's introduced. I like how he is and how he interacts with the Avengers because he's just some dude who's been in jail most of the time. Yeah. So if you think I don't remember how long he was in jail for, Ant-Man, but if you think about it, superheroes had only been around for like 8 years, so how long was he in jail? How long have superheroes been around,
Yeah. So
now he's out in the real world in Germany and he's interacting with Captain America for the first time. Of course he's going to be like, I'm shaking your hand too long.
That was funny. That was cool.
Yeah.
That was realistic,
T'Challa, overall, cool character. Really threatening, like, side antagonist almost.
He's scary as well.
Where he says, as a warrior and as a king, how long do you think you can keep your friends safe from me? And it's like,
I I know. It's like, oh, Jesus.
He's gonna fucking murk him.
Yeah, man. He's kind of a different character in his own movie. Now that I think about it,
is he? I don't know. Well, I mean, he's
not as aggressive, you know. Well, I guess Revenge was the.
Yeah, his overall arc in this movie was pretty aggressive, but I think they definitely toned him down to be more Marvel, occasionally comedic. But also, he's around people that he knows in his own movie, as opposed to this movie where he's around a bunch of foreigners who kind of just blew up an outreach mission. Who else? I guess Spider-Man.
Oh man, look in the real world. There was a bunch of contract negotiation bullshit happening, and thankfully, after the Amazing Spider-Man 2 failed, they decided fuck it.
They were desperate enough.
Yeah, they were desperate enough to finally work out an agreement, and that's when history was made on February 19th, 2015. I still remember the announcement. I remember crying when I read it. Anyways,
and then they put him in his first appearance ever, Ant-Man, as a referential cameo.
No, man. I remember seeing I remember the first time I saw this commercial, and of course
they should not have put him in the commercial.
They shouldn't have. Well,
for how small a party
trailer. Sorry, I don't know.
For the trailer. Yeah. What did I say?
I said commercial.
Commercial. It is a commercial. Every trailer's a commercial. Okay, there's just a weird culture around it. Yeah. They should not have shown him for how small a part he was in this movie.
Yeah, but
did they show Ant-Man in the trailers?
Yeah, they did.
I feel like I understand why they did. I understand. Okay, I understand why they showed Spider-Man.
Yeah,
I understand why they showed Ant-Man.
It would have been great not to,
But I wish they didn't.
Yeah,
I get that they did.
Well, it's kind of
I wish they would have taken an Endgame approach and just not shown that one part.
Or even in Ragnarok, it would have been a nice surprise seeing the Hulk.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's an argument for later. But if you keep a character secret, I know it'll get out. Within a few days.
Yeah, they want.
But please, just. And I know that's why. I know that's why they don't.
Yeah.
But it's come on, dude. I wish they took the Endgame approach and just didn't.
I remember when I saw that trailer. I was in school. I just got into class. I was refreshing my phone when suddenly I start seeing screenshots of it, and then I look up the trailer and I see the end. Hey, everybody! Oh my god, bro!
It's hey everyone. Gosh, get it right.
Never mind.
Which is from a different part of the movie where he says it, or it's a different cut, whatever.
No, he says it in the movie.
I don't like. Okay, Spider-Man's suit. Appearance-wise, great. The fact that it's entirely CG for most of it is really obvious and annoying.
I hate that.
This movie actually has a few instances of bad CG, thinking about it.
Yeah, no.
Usually it involves the Iron Man suit being partially on.
Yeah, no, and the color grading is still kind of...
It's a little...
bland, bleak.
You could say bland. I would say just desaturated. And I know people complain about that, but it's just to give the movie a bit more of a down-to-earth kind of gritty feel. Mm-hmm. Which kind of contrasts the movie that's happening at the same time, which is Ragnarok, if you think about it.
No, but and also I don't understand why, because they had an actual suit. If you've seen behind the scenes pictures of it,
they use it more in Infinity War, I think, for the very few part. Wait, no, it's not Infinity War. In his actual movie, in Spider-Man: Homecoming, I think they used the real suit a bit more. But there's still some super obvious parts in even Homecoming where the suit's entirely fake, and it's so obvious.
No, yeah, but they for this movie at least, I guess I don't know why they didn't end up using it, but they had made a legitimate.
Well, they do use it, I'm sure, in some parts. Especially for parts where they're holding it and he's not wearing it.
It's a different design, you can tell.
Oh.
Yeah. I'll look.
Maybe that's why. They probably had to make some sort of design decision that changed it.
Actually, what do you know? This is it.
Oh.
Even the logo's a little different.
I guess.
I prefer it, though. It's more...
I would prefer him to just have a real suit overall. Which I think he does more so in... I haven't seen too much of Spider-Man Far From Home, which isn't canon, of course, because Spider-Man's dead, right?
Yeah.
I think that suit's more real. Or at least I think it is. It's hard to tell. I wish they just did a Deadpool thing where the suit's real and they animate the eyes.
Because you can definitely tell in this movie at least that it's just all CGI and that's...
Which is a small complaint. The character acts fine. A lot of people were stupid whenever this movie came out. I was like, well, wow, in the Infinity War trailer, you can see Spider-Man using a Spider-Man sense for the first time, which is like, no. In this movie, he clearly uses the spider sense when he says, "Oh God," and he throws, he grabs the thing that Bucky throws at him, and he says, you, I think you, what'd he say?
I think you dropped this.
I think it's like, hey, you dropped this. Yeah, but it's like, you literally see him react to something before it happens, which is like, they get the spider sense down. He very rarely uses it, ultimately.
Yeah, it's not really even showcased, to be honest.
Which is, spider sense can be kind of like a crux or a crutch. Because ultimately there'd be a few like scenarios that just wouldn't happen if like his spider sense worked properly.
Yeah, no, because I mean, you think about it, because
but also he's inexperienced, so there's always that excuse. And stuff like
because
that.
Also remember when he's talking to the Falcon, he's like, they start talking, and then the little Red Wing takes him. Yeah. Remember? And
he's like, oh, come on, yeah.
Yeah, and he doesn't, he didn't notice
it. It just drops him out of whatever. Yeah. So it's inconsistent. Yeah. I see the suit. Well, they might have used that a few times and then just animated the eyes. Like, you can tell the eyes are meant to be, like, changed. Anyway, is there anything else we want to talk about in this movie? Overall, it's a great movie. The villain worked out really well. I know we didn't talk about him too much, but his backstory is a little basic, but like what he actually manages to do with that motivation is pretty great.
No, it is. But again, it relies too much on
I disagree.
Okay,
it's planned out.
How did he know that Iron Man was gonna follow Steve into finding out where he was?
He just knew.
How?
He just knew.
How did he plan on?
Well, he probably just assumed the Avengers were gonna go there at some point. It didn't really matter. No. If it was just Captain America and Bucky,
why would they go?
Well, the thing is, like, I don't think the airport battle was part of his plan per se. That's just something that ended up happening.
Talk about the airport battle.
I know we did. I mean,
that has to be a whole section by itself.
Bro. This is a long part.
I know. No. Okay, look, pretty much
the airport battle's pretty well choreographed overall.
One of the best fight scenes, I think, in cinema history.
I was really surprised to find out that the entire airport is basically a green screen. Oh yeah, I did not know that until a year later, at least.
No, I could kind of tell. You especially with the CGI.
It was just with all the it was just all the interactions with it though, like that the characters had. I guess like the breaking boxes, hitting planes, and breaking them, and all that kind of shit. Yeah. I just couldn't tell.
But I still think that.
And that's what makes that
pacing for it.
That makes the bad CG stick out more.
No, yeah, no, it's true. Yeah, but I think the way the whole fight is paced, like I don't know. I just remember thinking like, wow, this scene alone is better than.
Oh, of course, I've gone back and rewatched it. Hawkeye's kind of thrown in it to even out the teams.
No, and the Vision is nerfed.
I disagree.
You think the Vision could have ended that whole airport battle?
He tried. No, he was busy.
With who?
I think Scarlet Witch.
No.
Scarlet Witch is his power match in this movie.
Yeah, but they weren't fighting.
Yeah, they do. I'm almost certain they do. Anyway, yes, Vision overall, he's not as nerfed as he is in Infinity War, let me tell you. Vision's a really hard character to... Well, then you could also say that Scarlet Witch is nerfed, because Scarlet Witch could fucking end the universe
she doesn't
in the comics. I don't know that I wanted to get to that power level, because that's just annoying and like way too... See, at a certain point, like Marvel characters, they're not... Even the gods aren't gods, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, they can be, like Thor, who you think is the most powerful Avenger, which he kind of is. He gets taken out by Thanos. So there's power scaling in the universe, but like nobody's like unbeatable. Like, you know what I mean? That's kind of a weird tangent on power scaling in the Marvel universe. Anyway, I think the way they set it up was so that there would always be an equal on both sides in theory, or at least somebody would have like an equal match that kind of fits their character arc for the movie. Like Clint fights Natasha, and they're ultimately not hurting each other. I'm trying to think. Oh well, they all have matches and stuff. Ant-Man does some really cool stuff. He becomes Giant Man in a movie that's not his. So I guess in a sense this is kind of actually, Ant-Man 2.
Ant-Man 2 prequel. Also, this whole thing with
Agent 13.
Yeah,
kind of thrown in there.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. Like really, that's probably the most that is the one thing you could cut out, and
they kind of do in Infinity War. She's kind of not there.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm saying for this movie at least.
Well, she has a part to play, and she's a carryover from the Winter Soldier storyline.
Yeah.
The part they kiss is kind of forced.
Well, yeah, but they don't develop anything more on that.
Yeah, know? Well, she's kind of like she helps out Falcon and Captain America, like get tips and stuff like that, and talks to them and helps them get their gear back. And
that could have been.
I think she's relevant. I don't think the love story was per se, because it was kind of rushed. I get that they're like love interest in the comics, so it kind of had to happen, but I don't really like when that's what has to carry over to the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna change the whole storyline, then why carry over love interest that kind of doesn't? Of all the stuff, which is kind of why it's kept down to just the one makeout scene, which is kind of worth it. And I know it's kind of forced, but seeing like Bucky and Sam in the car just like nodding and smiling, it's kind of worth it. It kind of makes up for it. It's like some character moments. You know what I mean? Anyway, my opinion. There's a lot of good parts. Like the part where Captain America is like wearing a t-shirt and he holds the fucking helicopter. Oh, it's just like that is purely an excuse for him to flex, but that's a-okay.
We didn't even get to the end. The twist.
the twist of Bucky killing
which, I mean, look, depending on
which is theoretically kind of foreshadow Winter Soldier.
Yeah. But it's a very good, like, no, that's the thing, you know, it's a good enough reveal to where, like, if you
did you know the twist in advance?
Yeah, because I remember.
When did you pick up on it?
Oh, because I watched The Winter Soldier probably like 4 times. You know, so by then I had watched that scene.
Okay.
I remember first when I first saw it. I remember whenever they were having that montage, I remember seeing his parents, like, you know, like the Starks killed, and that's when I just assumed, oh, okay, you know, because this was a montage about the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, about him killing.
And what he's done. So I was like, oh shit, okay, I guess he did that. You know, makes sense. And yeah, but I mean, at the same time, I thought, like, I remember the first viewing, I thought it could be that, or they could be showing all the things Hydra's done. You know, like they killed.
Yeah, and I guess that was vague, so you didn't know it.
Yeah, so it was vague.
And it definitely didn't show it explicitly of him killing his mom and dad.
Also, it was very, very quick, like very, you know, you could have missed it in a blink.
But the thing is, they hint at that scene several times by keeping it vague, but just revealing a bit more information each time.
Well, yeah, well, I mean, like, what I mean rather is, like, it's quick enough to where you missed it. If you missed it,
like in the Winter Soldier. I'm talking about like the actual scene of him, like the first time they show it, he hits the car and that's it. The second time he gets the serum and then he goes and gives it to the Winter Soldiers.
Yeah.
And the last time is when you see it, like him actually who's in the car and then him killing them, and of course Iron Man sees, which I get could be kind of a convenience, but.
But a lot of people give, like, you know, thought Iron Man was in the wrong for, you know, getting mad. But I mean, hey, well,
I get why he did.
Look, it's more as opposed to
it was finding out that Captain America lied to him, which surprised him so much.
It's a lot. It's overwhelming. You know, a lot of emotions overriding you, and then like because you know that you know he was brainwashed, but still, you know, you're pissed off, especially because your supposed friend kept that from you, because he's like, Rogers, did you know? And he's like, yeah, I did.
Which is,
you know, it's still, but also there's more emotion invested there than rather like Martha,
which is kind of hinted at. Which of course is a better twist than Martha. I watch a lot of video essays on the MCU, especially since we started this. Yeah. And there's actually a few scenes that. Because a lot of people thought that Captain America couldn't lie, which he almost doesn't. But this movie is actually kind of breaking down the myth of Captain America. And it's a really subtle thing that I didn't pick up on much.
That he can't lie?
Or that he doesn't.
Oh, okay.
And that's what makes that scene so startling. But it actually kind of hinted at whenever Iron Man, or he says to Iron Man, you know, sometimes I wish I could not run towards the scene.
Oh, yeah.
And Iron Man's like, no, you don't. And he's like, no, I don't. Which is, it's a really white lie. It's a really, like, you know, innocent thing to say, but he did lie in a sense, you know, to try to calm down Tony. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was the first time he got like caught lying, and that's when he made the choice. Like, yeah, I'm gonna help my old friend, and instead of my new friends, and really fucking, which understandably fucking hurt Tony a lot.
Yeah, actually, now it is kind of fucked up on Cap's part too. That he, oh man, I just remember he's my friend. So was I.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh.
And I get it's a summer slog movie, but like there's some fucking parts that hit in this movie.
Nah, it does. Especially at the end, they're beating the fuck out of him. Like,
yeah, and it's kind of funny that they have to do a 2-on-1, but you know.
Nah, but that is. I just realized. Wow.
It is really good seeing a gritty fight between Captain America and Iron Man.
No, but I'm just realizing now, like, damn, Tony finds out that, like, his friend's friend killed his parents.
And tries to fucking murder them.
And now they're both beating him up.
Well, he tries...
No, God damn.
He tries to beat Winter Soldier up. And he's like...
Yeah,
he's basically like, Steve, I'm gonna fucking kill him. And Steve's like, I can't let you do that.
But then they beat the fuck out of him.
Well,
they beat the shit out of him, man.
Well, yeah. Well, the thing is, he's not trying to hurt Tony. Winter Soldier is kind of trying to, like, hurt him. He's trying to, like, fucking break the arc reactor.
Yeah.
But Steve breaks his helmet off, and it gets super violent to the point where Tony thinks he's gonna fucking kill him.
Yeah.
Because he, like, until he, like, breaks the arc reactor, and then it kind of basically nerfs his suit. At least how I interpreted it, and he can't get back up. And then there's the iconic part where he's like, "That's my father's shield," and then he drops it, which is like, all right.
What? What do you mean?
I never really was a fan of that moment.
Why?
Because you know he's gonna be Captain America.
Oh, but I didn't take it as like, oh, he's not Captain America anymore. I just took it as like,
well, it is. It's supposed to mean he became Nomad after that. And I get the symbol.
No, because he's like, I just took it as like, fine, fuck you. Here it is, you know.
Yeah, it's a fine lit. Which is interesting if you think about it. I wonder if this was on purpose that, like, or this is probably just being a nerd and reading too much into it. Captain America's or Iron Man's whole arc throughout his 3 movies was, oh, I don't need my suit to be a good person, and that took him 3 movies. But Captain America's like, that's my father's shield, and he drops it in an instant for his friend. I don't know if that's on purpose. And that's kind of why, in a sense, Tony always kind of hated him, and which is brought up in this movie a lot, is like, my dad never shut up about you. I wanted to punch you in your perfect teeth. It's because, like, Captain America was always really looked up to by his dad.
Yeah.
Tony was always such the opposite of him, having met him, you know what I mean? And they were always at odds. So yeah, it kind of plays into, like, why they're fighting, and ultimately their excuse for fighting and their disagreements and everything like that as friends and as heroes and everything like that. I don't know about the original Civil War comic, but it's a lot more. There's a lot more depth to the characters in this one, in my opinion. I mean, that's just me reading too much into it.
Well, no, I mean, I'd say that, but if you haven't read it, you know.
No, I'm not going to say it's. I don't know.
No, because
from my understanding, of the Civil War comic is like Captain America's like, no, we need to be free, and then Iron Man's like, no, we should follow the government.
Well, that's pretty much what this movie is. Isn't
it's not, because there's so much more to it. I mean, there's more to it. Like Tony's guilty. There's reasons behind him.
That you mean, yeah.
Or right. Captain America's like, hey, I want to, which is, I feel like the reason. I feel like the Sokovia Accords is a much better antagonist, quote unquote, than a Registration Act. Because also, secret identities aren't really a thing until Spider-Man, so it doesn't matter. But overall, I think it's a much better character motivation driver than anything else.
That's true. Jesus, that's badass.
Sorry, we're watching the part
with the fight scene. The first one, I think, probably
with Winter Soldier, and
God damn,
they're fighting the task force.
Good ass choreography in this.
It's also the first time Black Panther shows up.
Yeah, no, because you just
okay. We got to stop referencing clips.
This is one thing after the other.
So yeah, is there anything else that warrants being talked about? Because we talked about this for 45 minutes now.
I think that's it. Right?
Okay. It's a great movie overall. Fucking great. What do you give it? 10 out of 10?
8.
8?
Yeah. Yeah, that's me. 8.
I want to give it a... It's so fucking good. You know what? I'm going to give it 9.5.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. So
9.5. Yeah.
Average.
Wait, did you give it an 8?
Yeah.
No, I think to be 8.75.
Okay.
Hell yeah!
All right.
Matters for the stats, okay, fam. Everyone's keeping track at home, you know.
Holy shit! I forgot how good this scene is.
The whole movie's fucking good. It involves into like a whole chase scene where it's like a 3-way chase.
My feet.
You fucking. There's no visuals to this. They don't know.
Look, they can figure it out.
They can't look.
There's a lot of big jumps in this movie. Jesus.
Big jumps.
How does no one's feet hurt?
Oh my! Because they're fucking superheroes.
Okay, yeah, but your bones would still kind of.
All right, we're moving on to the next movie, having rated Captain America, which is Doctor Strange. Correct.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Doctor Strange, a very weird departure.
More like Dr. Boring.
Did you just?
Got him.
I'm trying to look up Doctor
Benedict Cumber.
This is taking time.
Cucumber.
All right, we'll probably keep this one a lot shorter because I don't know what your opinions are of it overall. I like this movie a lot. I really liked it when it first came out. It was the first movie I've ever gone out of my way to see twice in theaters.
Wow, that's crazy.
It passed a lot quicker the second time.
Yeah,
I think this movie has great pacing. At least for me personally. It has an interesting pacing style in my opinion, because the first part of the movie it's kind of like montagey. It shows like a decline in his life, and then when it gets down to like the superhero, like, hey, I'm pretty good at what I do.
Yeah,
it all takes place over one day, like the last half of this movie. So it's like building up, like going down, like so you see the whole decline of a guy's life, and then improving in a totally different way.
No, that's true. Yeah.
And then basically the climax of this movie, it takes place all in one day, which is like a majority of the movie.
Well, also the timeline's not really like explicitly stated ever, you know, because you really don't know when this movie starts, like what year.
Yeah, that's true. I think overall the best thing to assume is that the climax of the movie takes place in the year that it's released in. That's what I always kind of go off of. You do see the Avengers Tower from Age of Ultron, so obviously it's past 2015. Oh, okay. Whenever he gets in the car accident.
Yeah.
I think they did a pretty good job of displaying his pre-accident self as an asshole.
It's weird too, because I remember at the time it was rumored that this was going to be the first movie to not have an origin.
They did say that. And they immediately did not do that.
Yeah, like, because I remember after we got out, I was like...
To be fair, though, they kind of kept true to that when it came to, like, Black Panther, Spider-Man, stuff like that. But with this one, I'm glad they did it. I'm glad they did, because...
Yeah, I mean, it was the last... I think it's the last... It's a good... Overall, I consider this movie kind of a much lesser good Iron Man.
I disagree. Anyway.
Wow. Wow.
I think they do a good job of displaying him as an asshole with an ego, but in my opinion, it still comes across as different than Iron Man. Like he's.
I mean, no, it does in a way, but for the most,
I'm not sure what it is. Like
the character, yeah, no, I mean,
much more egotistical, whereas Tony's more like not giving a shit when he in Iron Man 1.
You know, he's more quippy. I mean, the same, but more quippy, I guess.
Yeah, he's quippy. Doctor Strange makes a lot of quips too.
I wouldn't say as quippy.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Okay, right.
Overall, it shows him being really smart, and I get why there's comparisons made between the characters, and I think their character interactions when they do finally meet are great.
Yeah. Although I wish, well, I don't know. I mean, you're right. The pacing is pretty good for the most part.
I think his car accident part and the whole decline of his life is great. Yeah. Like, I mean, like it's not great for him, but like it's greatly paced. It's shows a lot of the arrogance of him. Like, I could have done better. Once he sees his hands and how they got fucked up, and then him spending his entire wealth, and you see like slowly scene by scene stuff disappearing from his apartment. There's all these subtle I want to think they're subtle, but maybe they're just really obvious, and I think I'm really smart for seeing okay. People, they always put those kind of things in. It's like, oh my god, I got that, and you're like, did you know? And then it's like everyone else is like, yeah, it's obvious. So I thought that was like a neat touch. And one thing I noticed on this watch through is that like one of the things that he brings up, the other doctor guy is like, we have an Air Force colonel with a fractured spine, which I'm like, oh yeah, that's Rhodes. That's Rhodey.
No, so I remember that was a big thing at the time. Everyone thought it was referencing Rhodey, but that's when the whole timeline, like everybody was unclear of when.
See,
because if that was the case, then because that's still before the accident, right? Months before he's where you said.
Well, that would mean the accident takes place after Civil War, which.
No, the accident. Yeah, which means when does by the end of it, when does it take place?
Probably within a year, I would assume.
Because I thought.
Which doesn't matter because you don't see Doctor Strange after this until Ragnarok ends.
Well, some people said that this could have been like it could have been that guy from Iron Man 2.
No,
the guy in the suit because he got his whole back twisted.
No, absolutely not.
How is that absolutely?
Because you see the Avengers Tower from Ultron. Beginning. From Ultron, yes, but it's a sky shot as he's getting ready to drive.
Yeah.
So it takes place after that. So I'm almost certain it's about Rhodes, and that it takes place after Civil War, which both release wise, you can assume that chronologically that's correct. It's just a matter of how long of a span does it take place over. It's kind of hard to say because it could take years of practice to become a master of the magical arts. Yeah. But he managed to do it from what you can understand it pretty quickly.
That's another thing in itself.
Well, the way that they explain it is that like with medicine, he learned it pretty quickly overall. Yeah, I mean, but he ended up being like super adept at magic, and he's like, oh yeah, I read like these 10 books. Can I have more? Kind of stuff.
I think it's technically good, but at the same time, there isn't much like I don't know. I think maybe just the execute, like just on the technical level, like
the effects are great.
It's good, but like I don't know. I think there's nothing at least that would make me rewatch like the first half of the movie. Honestly,
I would watch it as a set. I mean, I personally like it. I mean, and it's all a preference. I like this movie a lot. I really liked it when it came out.
This was the first one where I started to feel the formula.
I can kind of see that.
Yeah, I remember that was the first time I thought like, okay, yeah, these are getting.
Well, I thought the Ant-Man was the first time, but I still enjoyed both of them. Yeah. For full disclosure, obviously.
Also, the thing is,
the only thing I can see that I could complain about, because if we're going to start with that, I think the supporting characters are.
Yeah. No, yeah, like Rachel McAdams, just kind of. Love interest.
Oh, the doctor. I think she's good. I think she plays off. I think she plays off Strange well. I'm talking about Carl Modo and the Ancient One. They are pretty acted. Yeah. And
there's also the controversy.
Oh, about them changing the race.
Yeah. Washington.
Do you want to know why?
Well,
because they wanted the movie to do well in China and Thailand and stuff like that.
Well, that too, and actually, the podcast that I watch, shout out Double Toasted. The podcast they had before that called Spill. One of the guys that was on that one, he went on to become a writer for Doctor Strange. So so they had him on Double Toasted, and they asked him about that, and he got in trouble for this. He pretty much said there's the full video. He says it was a lose-lose situation. If you made him like how he is in the comics, it would have been just some stereotype. Mm-hmm. People from wherever it's based off of would have gone mad. And if we don't change it, well, now we're getting in the situation we're in. So either way, we were gonna lose. So we just figured, might as well go with like a good actress, something like that. And he got in trouble. Like Disney, I don't know what Disney did, but they
probably blacklisted him. Unfortunately,
no, he's writing the second one too.
Oh. I'm excited for Doctor Strange. Well, I am, but like Carl Modo as a villain is going to be pretty boring. I think
he could. I mean, he could be expanded upon. I mean, look, because honestly, here's the thing too. Scott Derrickson is the director for this one, and he has like a horror background with like okay, it's blanking out on me, but he's done some stuff. Sinister.
Also, if I don't know how big a role that guy had in the writing of this, but I think this is really well written movie. I mean, obviously there's some parts that are like Beyonce. I'm like, but the entire climax of the movie with Dormammu.
Oh yeah.
I loved it. I thought it was so goddamn creative, and
that's
much
true.
Shout outs to whoever that dude is.
See, that's the thing.
Much shout outs.
That's the thing. So like, overall, I started to feel the formula, but I remember thinking that ending is really fresh. Like
it was fucking great.
That's a new thing that we haven't seen before.
The Dormammu ending was probably a big driver for why I wanted to go back. Well, I love the whole final act of the movie where it's all in one day. Where he basically gets forced into becoming like a master of magic.
Yeah. But the thing is too, like, I don't know, like, I think Dormammu, because he was, I mean, he's still alive, right?
Dormammu?
Oh yeah,
he's banished as part of the agreement.
Oh, okay. Well,
so he's not coming back.
Because he's a pretty like prominent villain, too. And I think even
I don't think apparently nobody expected him to ever be a thing in the movies because it's such a weird thing.
But I think this movie still overall plays it too safe. Like it never goes too crazy into like the magic for the most part is just those little shield things they do. The little
it's a lot of magic karate and
the
mirror dimension.
Although that stuff
they keep it pretty vague with the mirror dimension. He doesn't really use it very effectively. And
they introduce a lot of things that make you excited for a sequel because for the most part
it's a cool world.
Because they introduce like the mirror world. Like that's a pretty cool concept.
But there's so many fucking cool details about the world, like the little back room that teleports you between the sanctums.
Oh yeah, and then also
the little like spinny knob thing or the spinny like looking glasses where it like opens up to different parts of the world. I love that. It's just so many fucking cool details that are like they didn't have to put in there. They could have made this such a basic story. He could have fist fought Dormammu at the end.
Okay, yeah, he could have, but that would have been already like that in general. Like
this movie did not have to have such a cool aesthetic as it does when it comes to like with the mirror dimension and stuff shifting around.
That stuff is cool, but it's still like this movie. I disagree with that statement because this movie had to be that. Like, I'm not going to congratulate it for being like, oh, you're not basic. Like, no, at this point, and this far along in Marvel's career, just basic isn't even in the question anymore. So I'm not going to congratulate it for doing the most basic of, things, because this movie, because even in Infinity War, he does a lot more, magic, like crazy shit, like Winds of Watum.
I think that also has to do. Well, this is still an origin story,
that's what I'm saying. Like
he only can do so much, and he's still learning. By the time the final act starts, during that day, he's not very good at magic. Like his magic shields like turn off.
Yeah.
So what ultimately helps him get through and survive is the cloak that he finds that picks him, and also the eye of
Agamotto.
Yeah. Did you expect the twist that was an Infinity Stone?
No, I remember I
was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, but I remember thinking like, oh, well, that makes sense, I guess.
No, it's and theoretically, if you were expecting it to be there, you kind of could see it coming. Like, oh yeah, it's a stone that controls time.
yeah.
But it's set up in such an interesting way.
Because I remember all I knew about Doctor Strange before this movie was from what I had played in Marvel Ultimate Alliance. So, in that game you visit the Sanctum Sanctorum and stuff, and you'd see like the Eye of Agamotto, just a bunch of...
Has it always been an Infinity Stone, or was it just like...
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's ever been an Infinity Stone.
Okay. Well,
that's why I was kind of surprised whenever they made it, but I was like, well, that makes sense, And
it ties in really well to Infinity War too.
Yeah. Also, this movie doesn't really have like much, reference to...
It doesn't really need it. Yeah.
No, that's good.
Besides, outside of the Avengers, we protect it from supernatural threats. But God, sorry. Now I'm the one referencing clips. So we're watching the clip right now where he's fighting one of Caecilius' followers in the astral plane, and he's dying on a table. Mm-hmm. So fucking creative.
Yeah, that's true.
And he's not good at with fists because now he's on an even playing field because he's in the astral plane. So he has himself get shocked to fucking blow somebody up. It's just so goddamn creative because I don't know, you can say that it's not basic, but I think it's good. I think it's great. I think it's in some parts it's amazing.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just
you're free to disagree on that.
No, because I don't disagree. I could definitely see that. Like that's true, And I mean, I remember I saw it twice and I enjoyed it both times when in the theater.
So you saw it twice in theater?
I've seen every one of these twice in theater. I go once with my dad, and then once with whoever I'm with at the time. So I've seen literally each of these in the only movies I haven't seen in theaters twice.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
That one.
Thor 2?
No.
You saw Thor 2 in theaters?
Okay, no.
Twice?
No, you're right. So Thor 2, Ant-Man and the Wasp, and both Guardians.
Really?
Yeah.
But you've seen everything in theater at least once.
Yeah, and no, but everything else I've seen it twice.
There are a few movies there are 2 movies I did not see in theaters. I did not see Thor 2 and I did not see Ant-Man and the Wasp in theaters.
No, I saw all of them.
Which I'm perfectly fine that I didn't.
Wow.
I'm going to say that.
Spoiler review.
No,
but yeah, I'm just. Oh, also, hey, the one scene that is the one scene where I think they went fully crazy on the
what,
when she shows him like open your mind. She fucking.
Where it just goes full like LSD mode. Yeah.
No, that was like.
I love the part where they're running away from Caecilius and like New York is just like kind of not necessarily falling apart, but like it's just tripping out because he's so much more powerful than them. He can just fuck with it entirely.
Yeah.
It just leads to a lot of interesting
they capture
cameos.
Like the spirit of those comics. You know, like Steve Ditko's like art style. Like it captures all of it perfectly. You know?
And also Stanley's cameo. He's reading a book about expanding your mind on LSD.
My boy. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
But I mean, even the casting. I don't know. Actually, the casting.
Benedict. Okay, we talked about everybody. So really, the only people left to talk about are Wong, who apparently who had a bigger role in Infinity War than I thought he would, and I guess Endgame also apparently. I thought Wong was just going to be like the librarian, and I thought he was going to be like, oh, he's a side character, but like it turns out he's actually Doctor Strange's sidekick, which I had no idea about.
Yeah, that's why. No, I figured.
And seeing him pop up in Infinity War was like super cool because they actually fought together and stuff like that.
Well, like Baron Moto, it's not so much because most people because he's black, they didn't like the race switching. I didn't really have a problem with that. More so just the look, I guess.
Oh, like him being like he just has like a staff or whatever.
Well, he looks pretty much like, honestly, he looks kind of similar to the Mandarin.
Oh, like in the
like very Mulan-ish.
Moving past any of the racial stuff, they had to change and just kind of ultimately they were just trying to play it safe, like you said,
exactly,
and
But
I think the acting for it was pretty on his end. From the Ancient One, really basic. Yeah. She has like a few good like comedic scenes, and like I kind of liked her death scene, which is super graphic, by the way. Once watching it again, she just straight up fucking falls and hits the concrete, and it shows it.
Oh yeah.
She breaks through a glass thing and then falls on concrete. It's super violent. Anyway. What do you feel about Benedict Cumberbatch and Caecilius?
Oh, also, well,
Mads Mikkelsen.
It's funny because on paper, I remember when I heard it, but I was like, yeah, it's perfect. But I don't know, looks wise, I don't know. I feel like he's not. Like he acts it pretty well, but looks wise, like you think it'd be more accurate. But I think it's just me. I'm just tripping. I
think he did a really good role. I like his American accent.
Yeah, no,
some people complain about it.
No, I didn't see anything wrong with it.
I like it.
But as far as like,
did you know that Joaquin Phoenix was originally supposed to be?
Yeah. And I was.
You know why he didn't want to be it, right?
No,
because he didn't want to sign up for the contract deal.
Oh.
Like he didn't want to have to appear in other movies.
Oh.
Which I'm ultimately glad because Joaquin Phoenix is a great actor.
Wait, Joaquin Phoenix?
Yeah.
Oh,
wait, did I say somebody else?
No. You did.
But Joaquin Phoenix is like a really good actor, but he didn't want to be tied down to do multiple movies with one contract.
Isn't he a little old for?
I don't know. He's playing Joker. Anyway,
that's crazy.
I'll take him as the Joker as opposed to my Doctor Strange. I love his portrayal of Doctor Strange. Ultimately, I'm glad that it gets more levity and like. Kind of gets a bit of his ego back in later appearances in Ragnarok and Infinity War.
Although, Mads Mikkelsen wasted.
I was gonna say Mads Mikkelsen wasted.
Fucking villain.
Well, his aesthetic's kind of cool. I like the eyes. It's pretty basic.
Yeah. He would have been a perfect Doctor Doom. Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah, I could have seen that actually.
Yeah,
I could see that. Just do it. Just bring him back.
True. I mean, honestly, yeah. Can you imagine? That's perfect.
Yeah.
That is literally like, wow. You soiled it.
You soiled it.
Soiled it. Other than that, yeah, the movie's pretty good. But I give it about probably 7.
I give it an 8.5.
So 7.5.
You give it a 7?
Yeah.
I give it an 8.5. That'd be 7.75.
No, 7.25.
What? Wait, maybe?
Yeah.
You get a 7? No. 7.275.
Okay.
It's 0.75.
Okay.
I want to debate math on you.
Another thing about playing it safe, just, last thing. I remember they hinted towards the multiverse. And I got mad
sort
at it.
of. But
whenever whenever he first discovers a stone, and all those mirror things kind of open up, and you get kind of a glimpse of you get a glimpse of other timelines, I guess, or other Earths version, because they're all looking at the apple differently.
The apple.
Yeah, because it's whenever he's fucking with the apple, with the time stone, and I remember it. So that's the second hint. I remember the first hint was when he's going through that world.
I thought it was just different progress of the apple being eaten.
No, but then there's a part where remember a bunch of versions of himself appear as reflections.
I don't remember this at all.
Oh my god, I can't.
We can't look it up, dude.
I'm gonna find it. I swear to God.
Just type in what. Dude, we're not going to be able to find it that way. All right. I'll find it.
It's more apple.
All right. So, is it during the apple scene or is it later?
Yeah, it's during the apple scene.
I don't remember this, but we'll watch it. Let's see. This is great. This is great for an audio platform. Just saying.
Stop.
All right. Not in that. Okay. All right. This is.
Yeah, right there.
Okay, so. Oh, so the mirror thing pops up. I see what you're saying. I thought that.
I think you just leave it.
I thought that.
Right there.
No, dude. I'm pretty sure that's them stopping him from. I always thought that was them stopping him from looking at the book.
No, I thought, look, because it opens it up, he opens up something else by accident.
Well, it's when he restores the page. So we're talking about the scene where the apple he's fucking around with time, basically.
Yeah.
And mirrors pop up. Just leave it.
Yeah, see, it's a bunch of him.
Yeah, but there's, I guess.
Well, I thought
maybe.
That's what I thought.
I always interpreted it as just they were stopping him from looking at stopping him from fucking with time. They were putting off the mirror dimension to stop him. Either way, I thought they would have been way more explicit about that if that's what they were trying to go for.
No, that's true. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm stupid.
Every theory is correct. You also... What? Anyway. So Doctor Strange, that's ending that. One of the best movies of the MCU.
You really think that?
No.
Okay. Well, I mean, hey, no.
I'm partially joking to piss you off because you didn't think it's that good, but no, I think it's a good movie. I think it's probably one of the better solo movies.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll say that.
True. Yeah.
Some people are putting
wrong,
up.
But,
Sorry, I'm looking through stuff right now online, looking for clips for the next thing, and I'm seeing an Endgame movie review, and I don't want to click on it, and I won't.
I have literally blocked every single word possible.
I know you did. Tell them what words you blocked.
All right, viewers, I blocked. Let's see.
Why don't you talk into your mic instead of looking at Bumble?
Look, I wasn't looking. Stop.
Why don't you do that? Stop. For the people listening at home?
Stop.
Because I'm not cutting this, Eric. I'm not cutting anything. He's pulling up his mutes.
Spoilers Thursday. Awesome. Best movie. Brothers Russo film. Hashtag Avengers Endgame. Marvel Studios. Marvel. Man. Iron Man. Star. Tony. Man. Thor. Steve Rogers. Captain America. End. Space Game. Endgame. And Avengers.
Wow. What a mad lad. This man really blocked man.
And hey, I have not been getting any tweets. I was starting to wonder why the hell my TL was kind of I wasn't seeing any Avengers posts, and I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because it premiered yesterday night.
Yeah. So and they probably had previews for reviewers too early, which is
no, wait, that was the screening for that was last night, and there was one today.
Wait, there were screenings? You didn't fucking get me into it?
What? I didn't even
Bro!
know.
Bro!
Those are literally like...
Bro.
Those are way different, you know, as far as like, you need to... Like, Disney doesn't let anyone go into those. I think those are strictly like... Because I remember Doctor Strange was the first one that I wasn't able to attend to. Because they were just like, yeah, Disney's keeping this one like under wraps.
All right, so let's move into the next movie. The fantastic follow-up to the movie that we were pretty all right with. Yeah. Pretty lukewarm on, but thought it was good. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, directed by James Gunn. This movie, not only is it a great follow-up to Guardians of the Galaxy 1, which I always thought was good, but, you know, wasn't the best.
Are you in the camp that thinks this one's better?
Absolutely. This movie is fucking fantastic. Almost perfect.
Oh, wow.
Almost perfect.
Wow. Holy shit. Hot take. That's not really a hot take. I have the hot take.
I don't want to hear it. I almost don't want to hear it. Go and lay it on me. Do you like the first one more?
They're both kind of the same to me. I think honestly though, I'd probably watch this one. But for the most, I'm still in the kind of camp that's just kind of like, I don't know, something for me, and this is just a personal thing. I know I very much know I'm alone with this. I don't really resonate with them, you know, with the characters, I guess, you know. Like, something that carried over from the first movie, you know, from the first time I saw the trailer, and really not, because honestly, this was the one that I was going to miss in theaters. I only watched it because
I almost didn't. I waited a bit to watch it. I know that, but I went and saw it by myself, and I was surprised. Honestly, this was my third time viewing it, and it got better every time too. So
this was the one I've only seen once. Well, twice now, but like in theaters. I mean, I saw it once. And
I want to talk about things that I want to say. I want to say what I didn't like about the movie, because I can only think of one thing off the top of my head that I really did not like very much.
Okay.
Well, two things actually, now that I think about it. And then I want you to say what you also didn't like about it. And then I want to say what I liked about it to keep it straightforward. The Sovereign, I get why they were kind of set up. They're probably more so to set up Adam Warlock in the future. Spoilers, doesn't really affect anything yet. They're kind of like a throwaway villain that just kind of pops out of the movie. Mm-hmm.
You kind of forget about them.
Yeah, which, you know, they didn't really need to show up in the climax or anything. They could have been like a one-off and like been destroyed and then not shown up again. Yeah. You know, besides being an excuse to show up with Yondu, and everything like that. The other thing is that at times the effects make the physics seem a little weird for the movie and unrealistic. And I get that it's kind of marketed towards kids, which is kind of funny considering like some of the really hyper violent and really hyper dark shit that happens.
Yeah, like the implied stuff.
Well, not even just implied stuff. They explicitly show dead bodies floating in space and Thor with a cut off toe, which made me fucking laugh so hard because I forgot about it.
Did you say Thor?
Groot? Baby Groot.
Narcotics confirmed?
That's not me, friend. That's not me. I would never.
Okay, what else?
So, like, the part that I'm specifically talking about is the part where Rocket Raccoon is fighting off the Ravagers that are coming to get him. So he's kind of like fighting them off all by himself. And he has like these gravity mines, which is a really cool concept and a really cool thing. But there's a certain part where they're sending people up and then they fall down, the other people go back up, and the physics are really way too fast, which is a super nitpicky thing, which is usually a sign that I like the movie, is if my nitpick's like super specific like that visually it just you can tell it's CGI and not like there's no weight to the people falling.
Right.
And it just looks super cartoonish, which I get that it's like a goofy movie.
Yeah.
But I just think that it didn't fit very well. But yeah. Other than that, it's a great movie. I want you to say why you didn't like it, and I'm going to tell you why you're wrong.
Yeah, all right. I never said I didn't like it. It's just one of those, like, look, again, it's kind of like, it's technically good, but I don't know. For some reason, I don't really resonate with the characters, but that's just me. Like, so, because a lot of the movie is heart, you know, this movie, I can tell it has heart. It's very much James Gunn. And, like, I can feel the chemistry with all the actors, you know, because I can tell they love each other. So that's what makes it, like, you know, good and enjoyable. And, like, again, just a lot of heart. But since I'm not that invested in them, like it doesn't really affect me as much. Like, you know, just so I'm just kind of watching. You know, I'm along for the ride, and it's. I mean, while it's funny at some points, there's. I would describe this movie is literally like the first movie with everything amplified times 10.
I wouldn't agree with that.
No? Okay. So you like colors from the first one? Boom. Overload.
Yeah, there's a lot of like rainbow.
And you like
shit.
the comedy? Boom. Every, like, you know.
I think generally the comedy's good in this movie.
I didn't say it isn't. I'm just saying there's a lot more of it.
There's a lot of fucking just funny fucking parts.
Yeah. And
like, okay, Sovereign, not the best villains, but the part where they're rolling out the red carpet and it runs out. It runs out while they're on the planet. That's good.
Yeah,
anyway.
But that's just me. And yeah, so like when Yondu died, I know some people that think that's one of the top 5 scenes in the MCU.
It is.
And I just remember watching it and I was like, okay.
That scene made me tear up in this most recent rewatch.
Yeah, I know. That's what everybody says. And I remember just watching it, I was like, okay.
Because, okay, I think at the heart of it, the theme of this movie is like, it's not about the family that you got. It's about the family you find.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that message hit me so hard, because it's not necessarily like a totally relevant thing for, you know, my life overall. But god damn, it hit me so fucking hard. Especially the line where he says, like, may have been your father, but he's not your daddy.
Yeah.
It's such a good fucking line.
No, it is, you know. But again, I don't know. I guess just because since I wasn't really invested to begin with, it didn't really hit me as hard as it did other people. But for the most part, yeah, it's still, I think, I'd rather watch it than the first one. Since there is a lot going on, the pacing moves a lot quicker. Mm-hmm. But the only other thing I remember not liking at all was like just some of the dialogue towards from Drax towards what's her name?
Mantis.
Yeah. Like god damn, he was fucking mean.
I think that was
he's
like overly mean.
Yeah, man. I just
but like also he's like a super like
man, but
callous person.
But he was...
Oh my god! But there's also the interaction that they have where like she touches him like while he's talking about his family and she starts crying. Yeah. Which is like a super like subtle thing without overly explaining like how he feels. It's that's a really neat part about having like an empath on, you know, the team. And stuff like that.
But he was excessive. Like I just remember I was like, hey bro, just, come on, no, that's not even funny. I just felt bad for the actress, you know, like I was like, oh no.
But overall, Mantis was like a good newcomer, I think, because she is actually a member of the Guardians of the Galaxy in the comics. Mm-hmm. So like I think this implementing her this way was super good. I think overall, every act in this movie was great.
No, because I was about to get to the villain.
Kurt Russell, aka Ego.
Oh,
so good. He's such a manipulator of Quill. He tries to act like him more. He tries to basically play to everything.
Hey, also, again, another example of the de-aging technology.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, like, it's spot on, man. Like, at that point, like, I remember that's one of the things where I showed because my dad didn't see this movie, but I showed him that scene, and same, he was like, you know, he was asking me like, do they have like secret footage or something, you know, like fucking B-roll? But no, it's good. I think he's really good. He's got a lot of charm, a lot of charisma. I remember like that was one of the twists that I didn't expect.
What? Oh, Ego being evil.
Yeah.
I remember. I think if they changed his story up a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, and they did the look, you know, from the comics, where he has like the whole planet is a face.
Oh yeah. They do it eventually when he's angry.
Yeah,
which is cool. It's a good callback.
No, I thought that was cool.
I know they changed him up. I'm not too familiar with him in the comics.
Yeah, he's not much of a big like.
I'm just glad it's so fucking well acted, and like I love seeing the character interactions you weren't expecting to see. Like
that's true.
Rocket Raccoon and Yondu, fucking great. Like a combination that watching the first movie you wouldn't expect to be great, but then you realize like these characters are like brothers. Yeah, almost like it's like, hey, you're like a professional asshole or what? which is like a really fucked up thing. He's just like, stop showing your teeth. I'm disgusting. They're disgusting. Which is like super fucked up. But you realize like as the movie's going on, it's like Raccoon's just being an asshole to push people away because he doesn't want to get hurt.
Yeah.
which is like super basic, but like I think it's pulled off super well.
Yeah, there's a lot of emotion, like especially Peter's reaction whenever he tells him like, because what's the line like? Yeah, I felt bad when I had to kill her. Is that what he says, or let her go, or something like that?
No, when I put the tumor in her head is his exact words.
Super specific, but I was like, God damn! I remember when.
And then he immediately starts fucking shooting him, trying to kill him.
Well, which again,
very much in character.
Exactly. So whenever Infinity War rolls around, you're like, yeah, makes total sense.
Well, anybody with a brain thinks that, but some people think it's out of character for him to have lost his mind when the person he loved got fucking murdered, and is directly in front of you, and you can punch them in the face. Also, this is the one movie I think that kind of really also, introduced. What's her name? Nebula. Nebula was in the first one. I didn't expect her to have as big a role in this movie. Well, like as big a role in the MCU. This is like I think the second movie to kind of like, because if you think about it, she ended up having a big role in the MCU in just 2 movies. She really did, which I never expected. Like 2 appearances, I guess. Yeah, and in the first one, I personally thought she was going to be a throwaway villain done after that. Same. But she comes back in this one, and like. Her writing's kind of basic, in the beginning, and she's almost like she was in the beginning, but then she crash lands, tries to kill Gamora again. They have their fight where they almost kill each other, and then they're fine because she wins basically for the first time against Gamora. And she says, "You always wanted to win, but I just wanted a sister." Which again ties back into the theme of like family and like, God damn, it's so fucking. And that's the thing is, like, after watching it for this 3rd time, like, I remember so many fucking lines from this movie that are just like, it's so good. It's so good. No, yeah, look, I'm gonna go take a whiz. I didn't enjoy it as much, but I'd still give it an 8. 8 out of 10. 9.5. 1 out of 10. You kept saying almost perfect. Almost perfect doesn't mean perfect. Okay. Cool. It's great. I'm really excited that James Gunn's coming back for Volume 3, ultimately. Yeah. I don't know how that would have... So now he's directing Suicide Squad, and... He has to do Suicide Squad first, apparently. Due to contracts or something like that. Yeah. So he has to do a reboot of Suicide Squad first, and then come back and do Volume 3, which is fine, because... Oh, that's crazy. He's doing, like, he kind of, in a way, got 2... He got 2 gigs. Yeah, he ended up fine. I think, ultimately, that thing, because he got rehired, I think it just so happened to line up, like, after a quarter. I think Disney might have been like, hey, we had to fire you for a little bit, so that we're fine throughout the quarter, and then hired him back. Wait, well, also, I think they, they said, like, we never looked for anybody else. Yeah. So, I'm not sure how much of that went behind the scenes. I'm not trying to claim to know more than I do. But like it. Shut up. Disney? All right. Overall, great movie. You know what? Okay. Well, okay. No. Here it is. Wait. The first 10 out of 10? Oh, wait, no, it's not. It's not the first 10 out of 10. Because we got Iron Man, Winter Soldier, 10 out of 10. And Avengers 1, I also gave it 10. You know what? You fucking know what? Because I'd probably watch this over the original Avengers. Damn. You just gave me a look. Okay. I think I would. Ultimately, it's got such a fresh look. It's such a unique style. What's his face? Sylvester Stallone. Yeah, Sylvester Stallone's in the movie for. Oh yeah. Apparently, he's gonna have a bigger role in Volume 3. Those are the original Guardians of the Galaxy, I think. I think so. Yeah, something like that. Also, forget Miley Cyrus is in this movie. I read that today for the first time. I had no idea. No, she's like a talking head or something like that. Yeah, she was. I remember. I haven't watched it back with the context because I just heard that today. Yeah, no. After it ended, I remember looking out for it, but I didn't really ever recognize it. Anyway, but yeah, you know what? Fuck it. Guardians of the Galaxy, 10 out of 10. Wow, folks, you heard it here first. It's another one. That's the first 10 of season or phase 3 years. Anyway, so that means Guardians of the Galaxy gets a 9 for the podcast average. Moving on to the next movie, which is Spider-Man: Homecoming. So what do you want to start out for that one? Into the Spider-Verse is an MCU.
So, Spider-Man is my favorite hero in general. Always has been since I was a kid. I think he's one of the guys that, I don't know, in a way he's had, I don't know, it almost seems like they always can't get him perfectly right, you know? Mm-hmm. Even whether it was one thing, it was always one or the other, you know? Mm-hmm. So Toby's a good Peter, not a really good Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. Andrew's a good Spider-Man, not a good Peter, you know? And then, not to mention the right...
It's gonna call. So are you answering on the podcast?
Bro, I gotta go. Just text me. Okay.
You should have asked him to be on the podcast.
I asked him. Yeah, but he was like, I have.
No, you should just put him on speaker and be like, hey, what do you think of Spider-Man?
Oh my god! Why didn't you told me not to answer? What the fuck?
Damn, it really do be like that sometimes. Okay. So you're saying Andrew Garfield, good Spider-Man, bad Peter Parker,
and I'll say this, you know, my opinion on this movie has changed since my first initial viewing.
Hot takes.
No, I got a hot take for you, man. Ever since, because now, you know, I somehow got involved with like the Spidey fandom on Twitter. Ew. They're fucking terrible. They're all. What
does that even mean? Every fandom's terrible.
No, I mean, you know.
What do I know?
Sorry, 1 second.
Wow, he's texting on the podcast, guys. I'm sorry you listened through an hour and a half just to listen to him text.
Okay.
Only 4 movies in.
Stop. Okay. So, anyways, there's a whole thing. There's this, you know, I've watched a lot of video essays too. There's this one guy, High Top Films. He makes some good ones. He said he made a video called like, Spider-Man Homecoming is a good movie, but a bad Spider-Man movie. To the point where it's become a meme where people make fun of him for it now. But, you know, in the video, he brings up some good points about it. And, you know, there's some points that I'll be bringing up throughout the middle. But for my first initial reaction, I love this movie. It was my favorite movie. I thought literally like...
I thought it was great too.
I was like, this is it. They got it, you know? Since then, it has changed to kind of like...
Ooh.
Yeah, I see why a lot of people wouldn't like this iteration of Spider-Man, because as far as changes to the character, it makes, it's not so much the character, it's more so the situations they put him on in the movie. You know, like the way responsibility, you know, is supposed to be a big factor of Spider-Man, but in this case, like, he seems to not really have many consequences for his actions. Like, for example, you know, when
I would disagree.
Okay, no, I mean, well, what are you thinking of?
So I think responsibility wasn't meant to be a lesson that he learned in this movie per se, or maybe it was in a sense. I'm trying to think about the overall message.
Yeah.
But the big part of that is what makes him learn his lesson is, hey, if you're nothing without the suit, you don't deserve to have it. Which, interestingly enough, is Iron Man 3 arc. Yeah. Which is interesting because he's like passing that on in a sense. Mm-hmm. So, hey, it took me 3 movies to learn this. You need to learn this kind of thing. I think it was a good push that he needed, I guess.
No, that's true. I mean, that is, I would say that's, you know, like one of the lessons learned. But I mean, like, for example, little small things like him wanting to go to the, whenever he bailed on the
party, or the pool,
the fucking
decathlon,
the decathlon, and then whenever he decides to come back, they're just like, okay, hey, welcome back.
Oh, I see what you mean.
The thing is, like, what else? Like, you know, he kind of ditches Liz at prom, and I mean, the next day, like, they're still talking, you know, she apologizes and it's fine.
Not necessarily. It's that she's leaving and she doesn't seem very happy to talk to him, and she's like,
well, I guess that too. But but still, it's not. Like,
if you're watching a Spider movie for the first time and you're like, oh, that's his love interest, and it's like, if you think about it that way, it's like, well, his love interest for the movie doesn't want to talk to him after that. Like, she doesn't like him at the end of the movie. So
she still does.
No. Liz? No, Liz hates him at the end of the movie. MJ likes him at the end of the movie.
No.
Michelle and MJ Watson.
That's a whole other. Okay, this one's gonna be long too.
No,
partially because
better not.
No,
better not.
I'm serious, but no, because look, I got a lot to say. Okay, so all right, look, pretty much as far as that goes,
I understand why you could think that there's no consequence in the movie. I do think Liz does not like him at the end of the movie. And you could view that as a consequence if you view her as his crush for the movie, because
well, it's a consequence of bailing on her at prom. Because the thing with Spider-Man is he's supposed to be an unlucky guy. Like they call it Parker luck because everything always goes wrong for him.
Which is true because at the end of the movie, when he has to leave prom, he's like, "Well, shit, I got to do the right thing." Yeah,
but I'm saying like normally, Liz wouldn't have even talked to him or something, but she still does. And like I'm saying, I disagree with the end because she's still. You can tell she's still kind of. No,
she doesn't. Like, she doesn't. You're wrong. You're straight up wrong. Okay. Well, she looks incredibly upset that he's even trying to talk to her.
We will discuss this after the fact.
Okay.
But anyways, so look, I'll start off with the changes that I don't like that they made. I'm not a big fan of no Uncle Ben.
I could see that, but even again,
in a flashback, it been fine.
Again, that would have. I think that could have potentially made the movie too crowded. And it wasn't part of the story. And I understand why you could see that, but Uncle Ben has been done a lot.
Twice.
Now I'm pulling up the scene of Liz. I'm pulling up the scene of Liz right now, where she looks upset and looks away from Peter after just saying goodbye to her friend, where she was happy, which is the point of that.
She's fucking crying.
Yeah. But she's happy to see her friend.
No,
but she hugs her friend. She hugs her friend.
Because she's crying.
She hugs her friend. Then why didn't she hug Peter if he's her friend?
Oh.
Or likes him at all?
Oh God. Let the scene.
I'm letting it play. Where she looks at him and immediately looks away and tries to walk away.
Yeah.
Or face away.
That's a normal boy thing. Look.
She looks pissed at him. Look at that body language. No, she does. You're wrong.
For the end.
No.
Just wait for the end.
I'm watching it right now.
Oh my God.
Everything about it says you're an asshole.
No, it does not.
Eric, we're not going to agree on this. It's just...
Okay, we'll just wait for it. Wait for it. Fast forward through it.
All right, move on to... Okay. I'm trying to... Yeah. No, she walks away looking upset. The entire interaction, she doesn't like it because he literally ditched her at prom the day before. That is a consequence.
Okay, fine. I'll give it to you.
Okay.
You're right.
Okay. Thank you.
So there's that. The Uncle Ben thing, everybody always says it's been done to death. It's been done twice. And even then, how many times have we seen Batman's parents die?
Too many times.
You want to know?
They put in Batman vs. Superman for no reason.
Yeah. Martha.
Martha.
So... I think even in a flat, like, because there's a whole.
I think there's a chance for it to be in the sequel, but I think it would have been cluttered. I think that Tony Stark is the paternal figure. Adding
just one small flashback scene, because I think you could have even done the origin in the opening captions, like the Incredible Hulk,
Maybe.
And it, like even just show that scene, because what Uncle Ben was he crowded into the Spider-Verse?
Was he into?
He was.
When?
In the beginning.
Uncle Ben?
Yeah, he even says the line.
Oh, like the intro, like oh my Uncle Ben died, and like where it like speeds past it.
Yeah,
that works for Spider-Verse. Yeah. I don't know if it would have worked for this movie that begins incredibly lighthearted, and he's talking about being Spider-Man and making a movie, killing the Avengers.
The whole Tony thing, yeah, I'm not a big fan.
I think
I'm not really a fan.
I understand what they were going for, but I think it could have been better written. I mean, overall, because the thing of him trying to be a better father than his own dad, which is ultimately a thing that carries over from Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 3, kind of in a sense. But I just think it's not executed well until like the scenes where like, if you're nothing without the suit, you don't deserve it.
Yeah, but I think
that was great.
He could have also, I don't know. I feel like they could have just left him set up as a bad like father figure.
They did.
Well, yeah, but a worse one,
Oh, I mean, they do because he doesn't do much. Like to the point where he doesn't show up at all. I think that was good that he had to save him.
Although I think his screen time is perfect.
Yeah.
Like it's a perfect.
I'd agree.
Amount. It's not
good cameo.
Much. Yeah, it's not too much.
And it wasn't.
It's not a cameo.
It's interesting. I mean, yeah, you're right.
Because he's in,
he does show up a few times.
Yeah.
I think. I'm trying to think if it was necessary. No, it wasn't necessary.
You didn't have to write in that he was like the paternal like father figure now.
Yeah.
That was just something.
It's interesting to have that kind of.
I mean, it makes.
I guess it's to have a parent be like, "Hey, we'll handle this."
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, so there's.
We haven't talked much about Spider-Man since the beginning of this discussion.
Yeah, no. Tom
Holland, good Spider-Man, bad Spider-Man. Do you like the interpretation of seeing a younger Spider-Man?
Oh yeah, no, I'm all for that. I'm actually that's one of the
Spider-Man being one of the first new Avengers. Like the first new next generation. Oh, he's technically the first next generation superhero. Really, if you think about it.
Yeah. No, I mean that's cool. Well, look, I think Tom, he plays it perfectly.
Tom, I call him Tom. I'm just kidding. I'm making a joke that you're on a first name basis with him.
Oh, look. Well, yeah, Tom. Tom. So, yeah.
Hey, Tom. Hey, what's up, man?
Mr. Holland. Mr. Holland.
I don't know if I want to hear him without the
Hello,
I don't think Spider-Man. I don't think that's what he sounds like.
But no, like he plays it perfectly. He acts it perfectly. I think it's just kind of like
him and his friends build Legos.
Yeah. No. Look, the whole high school stuff, I think is perfect. That is something because
I like the gags that are included, like because it's like a high school comedy.
Oh yeah, also it is kind of funny.
There's so many funny bits, like the mascot running around the background. That doesn't need to be there. There's the the news programs with like the shitty graphics and green screens.
Yeah. No, this is one of the few movies that like I actually laugh and enjoy. Like I find it funny because like I don't know, the humor is a little different, but so I know I think Tom's great.
Hey, Spider-Man, do a flip.
Yeah.
I thought that guy's voice was pitched up, but I don't think it was.
No, and then I mean like because. The point is, what they've said, at least as of right now, is that they're gonna try to do like a
Harry Potter.
Yeah, like Harry Potter, and so we can see him grow over time. And like I think that's pretty cool because like
I wonder if that would be the first thing to not be limited to a trilogy in that case.
Yeah, no.
I guess Phase 4 would be the time to find out if that's the case because
also because again like it's
what if they make Captain America 4? What if they make Thor 4?
Well, it's the whole situation where I think like he's one of the characters that like he's always been in the most trouble because of Sony, because like
for sure,
now they want to.
I think they want him. I think they want him despite the trouble, which is
yeah, because also they're. I think the agreement is that they just kind of take all the money, pretty much.
They take a lot of it, and a lot of it. I forget which studio. I forget which studio makes the toy rights and stuff like that. It's a weird deal.
Yeah.
I don't know the specifics of it, but yeah.
No, and so like that means, for example, like ideally, I think it would have been better to have Spider-Man have been in Phase 1, and as a kid, maybe he wouldn't have been in the Avengers.
He was in Phase 1.
Okay, yeah.
He was in Iron Man 2.
Stop. Okay.
Retcon.
Okay.
Retcon.
And then look, it's a retcon. It makes sense.
It's a fun retcon. I like the theory. It's fun.
It's cool. But okay, so
there's the theory that in Iron Man 2, the kid that holds up the blaster and wears the merch mask.
I think it was Tom himself that confirmed it.
Of course he would. I thought Kevin Feige confirmed it. Like
no,
said, yeah, sure.
So Tom
he's probably like, yeah, fuck it.
Yeah. So Tom confirmed it, I think, and then Kevin was like, "Oh, I guess." Like, sure. Yeah, all right, go ahead. But yeah, so like the whole. Ideally, he would have been in Phase 1 because he's a big character,
I see. There's reasons he wasn't though.
No, I mean, look, I know why, but that's what I'm saying. The real life reasons, because now I feel like. What could have been an ideal trilogy, like say Captain America, like 3 movies, an Avengers appearance, and then you go from there. Instead, you got his introduction in another person's movie, and then you got his own movie. His third movie, like, is already the Avengers. Like it's a little
sort of.
It's a little rushed.
It'll just be interesting to see how Phase 4 works out.
Yeah, but it's situational. So I get it.
If working the Avengers into stuff was a little awkward in Phase 2.
Yeah.
I don't know how Phase 4 is going to factor in the events of Infinity War and Endgame. Mm-hmm. But it's hard to say because it hasn't come out yet. But
yeah, no, because like I mean, only his third appearance and he's died already. You know,
spoilers.
But other than that, let's see what else.
Michael Keaton, great actor.
Oh yeah,
I'm biased.
Look, villain, of course, because your dad.
Oh yeah, that's how names work. Last names and middle names. That's how they work.
No, I think all the characters are. Actually, I think they're because even despite Aunt May being young, I really don't have a problem with that because it makes sense. It's just, gosh, she's gorgeous. She's beautiful. Marissa Tomei, I'd cook her breakfast. But, no, and so like I think even their interactions are cute.
Peter Parker is always nice. He's always nice in this movie. There are parts where he's selfish, but like he's such a good-hearted kid. I think that's what makes him so wholesome. Mm-hmm. Is that like he treats everyone like super well and like actually acts like a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
No, and that's another thing. This is definitely neighborhood. Like that's another complaint I do have about the movie. I mean, I get it. It's different.
It's a different scale.
Because I like that they show like that he's kind of fucked whenever there's no buildings around. Like when he's running through the field. Like
I like that they put him in situations like that. This is the first movie to ever take Spider-Man out of New York.
Yeah, that too. That's another thing.
And he's afraid of heights.
Oh, yeah. That I like that.
He hasn't gotten to the point. Like, I want to see, and we probably won't get it in the next movie because it takes place in like Italy or whatever.
See, that's what I'm saying.
I want to see Spider-Man climb the Empire State Building.
Oh yeah.
And then be afraid but get over it.
Yeah, because I think that's how he did get Jesus.
We're watching the part where he's changing the suit for the first time and he's fucking jacked, much
jacked,
like all the other ones.
Nice shredded. That's what you call shredded.
And he's putting on the suit before it turns into CGI. This is the part I was talking about. Like, there's a part where in like Civil War where the mask is like half on and you can like totally sell it CGI over his face. But yeah, that mask was entirely CG.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the part. The mask is CG, but the suit's real. I think.
I still don't like the how it looks because I
like the suit.
Look, like right now, okay, that's pretty decent, but
I like the whole beginning part that sets him up to be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man because
like that.
But it makes sense why he actually gets called that because like he's a street level hero, which is, if you think about it, it's really the first time a movie tackles a street level hero where like he kind of helped the Avengers, but the Avengers are doing their own shit and don't want to talk to some high school kid essentially. But that's really shitty from the end of the high school kid, and he gets put with Happy, who doesn't give a shit about him. You know what I mean? Like he's his handler, basically.
Right. No, but I mean, like, so I guess I do like, the whole do a flip. I do like, that they kind of take him out of the normal element we've seen him in, but like, look, you have a movie with Spider-Man versus the Vulture, and you don't have a scene of them swinging around like buildings and shit. Like, come on,
Yeah. I understand why you'd be upset about that, but
I do like the scale. That actually does bring me to the point where I like the scale of the movie.
I like the Vulture got done right.
Yeah,
I like Vulture's motivation. I like Vulture's twist. Oh, like when it gets revealed.
Okay, see that? Oh god, look how bad that was, man.
What? Which part?
That CGI.
What?
Look right.
I'm flipping. Oh yeah, that's a little bad. Sorry, it's the montage of him flipping around. He flips off a car, and it's really bad CGI.
Look at that.
I think he faces some problems. Okay, and to be fair, this movie probably also had a smaller budget than a lot of the other proven franchises.
I mean, in scale wise, it's not the end of the world. Not that whole kind of thing. Like it's very like isolated.
For the most part, but at the very end where he almost becomes an Avenger after taking down the Vulture, all that kind of jazz, and he turns it down, which is interesting. And then immediately the next movie, like he shows up and he's like, "Hey, let me avenge."
No, but so I like Michael Keaton. That twist, I remember that was a twist.
Oh, that got me. That got me. I was like, "Oh,
yeah, that was man," and it was so crazy because at first for some reason I don't know, I thought, "Oh shit, he killed his fam." Like, like he's gonna answer the door and it's gonna be like, "Hey, I killed her fucking family." But then,
hey, what's up?
But then he was like, "Oh no, come in," and it was her dad. I was like, "What?"
That was a good twist.
Here's the thing, too. This is a common complaint about Spider-Man across all his movies. the villain is always someone conveniently tied to Peter's life.
Which I think is just part of his character in general.
No, I mean, not always. Like for example, Dr. Octopus. Doc Ock in the comics, it's there's really no relevance, but
you see it, like in the movies, it's conveniently like that.
It's always conveniently someone like that he knows.
My God, the twist of it, but then the entire part like after that, where he knows that he's the Vulture, and the Vulture is slowly finding it out, and you can tell through like certain things that he talks about.
Some of the best acting in the MCU.
Michael Keaton's just a good goddamn actor. And
he fucking tells him like, "I'll kill you, Peter. I'll kill you
and everyone you love."
Oh my God.
And he just has a gun. For whatever reason, he puts the gun on the front of the seat where like people can see it, not in the back of the seat where he can like point it at him. But Jeepers Creepers. That's great. Michael Keaton's a good villain, and he has understandable motivations. It's also interesting. Spider-Man's one of the first villains with a secret identity.
One of the first villains?
They're the first superheroes with a secret identity.
Oh yeah, so that's cool.
And his villain is also like he saves the villain from his own like greed.
That is like a comment, like not a comment, but that's part of Peter's character. You know, he'll try to. He doesn't want to fight you. He'll try to help you first.
Yeah, he wants to save him. He wanted to save, and so he went to jail because he's doing something wrong.
Yeah.
But he also earned the respect of the Vulture because
at the end, he doesn't give up his secret
to the Scorpion, which I didn't realize initially. I really should have picked it up on the Scorpion tattoo.
It was on the fucking. You think the Scorpion tattoo gave it off?
It didn't. I didn't pick up on it. I was just like, oh God. Well, because the thing was, I was like, oh my God, that's Boss from Far Cry 3. Holy fuck.
No, I recognize the name. I remember when the name dropped.
Oh, it was Max Gargan. I heard the name. I was like, I heard it this time around. Yeah. And I was like, oh, who's that again? Oh yeah, Scorpion. And
Mac Gargan, right?
Some Mac or Max. I don't care. Well, the thing is, he's not going to come back until
he is.
Probably.
Stop.
He's not going to be. He's not going to be in the next Spider-Man. He's not. He's going to be a throwaway villain at the very beginning.
Stop! Don't say that because they'll actually do that.
They're going to do Scorpion as a throwaway villain if he's in the next movie.
That's some shit that they would do.
You know what? They're going to have Rhino at the beginning too, and then he's also going to appear at the very end, and they're going to go mid-clash, and then... Oh, wait, that's the other Spider-Man too.
Rest in peace. Damn, that never had any resolution. That hurts to think about. Poor guy. Another change I don't like... No Harry. Because basically... They took a lot of elements from Miles Morales for this version of Peter Parker.
I can see that.
And like, like what's his name? Ned Leeds?
Who?
Right? Ned, that's his name?
Ned.
The chubby.
Oh yeah, he's a character in the Ultimate Universe that's Miles Morales' friend.
Yeah, his name is fucking...
Hey, you want to know a fun fact?
What?
I was in a movie with that guy.
Oh.
The guy who plays Ned. It's a Bloodfest from Rooster Teeth. I was an extra in that movie. It's I don't know if you'd want to look at the movie, but I was in it.
I'll take a look.
I haven't even watched it, to be honest.
Wow.
I was just next to him once, and that was cool. I was like, oh my God, I'm basically in the MCU.
Oh, hell.
Anyway, do you think Ned's character was annoying?
No.
I think he fit. I think it was cool.
No,
I think it gave Spider-Man an interesting thing where like somebody knew his secret identity and was like his guy in the chair and like was on his side.
Yeah.
Because it kind of helps the inexperienced superhero like have, Mm-hmm.
And they show smarts too because they show him like
getting out of the facility
and also hacking the suit pretty much.
Oh yeah, he does help. Somebody else had the thing that not only was Ned part of it but also having I think it calls it Karen, the AI that's Friday.
Oh yeah.
It's the excuse to have Peter have an inner monologue because a huge part of Spider-Man in the comics is that he talks to himself.
The thought bubbles, yeah.
But he doesn't do that anymore. I don't think he's ever done that. Well, I guess Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man had some of that. But it really wouldn't fit in the MCU, so they introduced the AI as a method of having an inner monologue.
I don't like that either. I like all that new shit he had.
Like the fact that it's a Spider-Man suit that's an Iron Man suit, basically.
Yeah, I don't fuck with that.
It was a little weird.
Yeah, because now
I see why.
Now there's really no reason for him not to have that suit.
No. Oh, you mean like the Iron Spider suit?
No.
From Infinite? Well, yeah, I mean, both. They're basically the same.
Well, because we're to assume for some reason that the suit he has now currently, it's still like that blue one isn't Like, it's just the regular suit with all that shit taken out, the AI stuff. But they never really explicitly state that. Do you see what I'm saying?
What?
So, in Infinity War in the beginning, he's wearing the red suit he got back.
Yeah.
Are we to assume that still has the AI in it?
Probably.
Because I assumed it didn't.
Well, I mean, he put on Iron Man suit, the Iron Spider suit over it, so it didn't matter. He'd had it regardless. It doesn't come up at all.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So there's no AI anymore. There's none of that.
Well, there is. It just doesn't. It didn't fit in Infinity War. It didn't matter because he had Tony Stark to talk to. Because again, the point of the AI is to have him talk off somebody.
No,
I disagree. Wow. What do you think of the movie? Is that anything else big to talk about?
There's too much.
Too much. Overall, it's a pretty straightforward solo movie. I think they did a pretty good job of picking up with the character after Civil War.
Yeah, it's more so new than anything, but
it's good. It's a new. It's a. Are you gonna bring us some rice pudding too?
Yes.
That's inappropriate.
There's a lot of changes they made that I don't necessarily agree with, but it is still kind of new overall, and I still enjoy it. But
Flash says Penis Parker.
They call him
Penis Parker.
Toby still got it for me. Raimi trilogy. Yep.
It's not that good.
Yes, it is.
I'm memeing a little bit. I haven't watched Spider-Man fully.
Like you. I used to be a buffoon.
Outdated, bad CG, bad acting.
If anything, it's better. You know what? No, Spider-Man 1 has better CGI than Homecoming, and that is sad.
I absolutely disagree with that statement.
No. You can't even.
Whenever we start our movie podcast, we're gonna watch the Spider-Man trilogy at some point.
Yeah, I guarantee you. You don't even.
And you're gonna see the Goblin fly around on the glider, and you'll be like, "Oh yeah, that's PlayStation 1 graphics."
No, I saw it again. That's why I know. I used to be a buffoon.
A buffoon.
But I watched.
You're only using that word because I told you it's a funny word.
It changed me again.
Oh my god! All right, so Spider-Man, what do you give it?
You know what? I give it a 9.
I was gonna give it a 9. Let's go with 9. Average of 9. MCU and me. Pretty straightforward. Good movie. Psych. For all that complaining you did, you gave it a fucking 9.
It still feels like a 9 to me.
Okay, well there you go.
Psych.
Alrighty. Pretty straightforward. Wasn't as long as you were saying it was gonna be.
I could have made it way longer.
Probably, and I'm glad you didn't. Because we're already almost hitting the 2-hour mark coming up on Thor Ragnarok. One of the biggest hit surprises of Phase 3, arguably.
Yeah, that one.
I was not expecting to see this movie weekend 1, and then I heard from everybody, holy shit, it's really good. And I'm like, okay, let me go see it. This is some background cursory information. I went around to 3 different theaters because I didn't want to pay the online fee to get a seat. And I was like, hey, do you guys have a seat? Went to the 3rd theater because none of them had it besides like the neck break seats in the front. Last one, all they had was neck break seats. And I was like, you know what, fuck it. So I bought an IMAX ticket for the front fucking seat because that's all that was left. Jesus. And I had a great fucking time. Oh. I had a blast.
No, this movie is a hell of a time, man. I saw
the entire first scene where he's flinging the hammer around at the fire creatures. I kept turning my head back and forth, craning it back and forth. And you know what? It was a 4D experience, and it was great.
No, so this movie, right? You know, this is a kind of a game changer in a way too.
For the universe and also the Thor franchise.
Yeah.
Which is sad that it had to happen in the 3rd and supposedly final movie.
But anyways, yeah, so like I remember because I wasn't really interested in a Thor movie, you know, again, because especially after Ragnarok, you know, during Age of Ultron, what the dream he got was of Ragnarok ended up being
just super lame.
Well, it was just generic.
It was Thor 3. It was the Thor because in Thor 2 we talked about like Thor 3, like Thor 2 sets up for a Thor 3 that never happened.
Yeah, and so I think along the way they just kind of realized like because I think Chris Hemsworth knew too. He was like, hey, you know, that's just kind of boring, you know.
Well, I watched an interview with for Endgame today actually. With like a round table of the Avengers, and he was like, yeah, it kind of started with, you know, the original Thor, and over time I like put more of myself into the character. Mm-hmm. Which, you know, definitely comes across mostly just in this recent in this movie. And
no, because this one is a very like you compare this one to the first Thor.
He's having a good time.
Yeah,
probably for the first time ever.
No, because that's what he said too. You know, like I don't know. They just figure like, hey, just make him kind of a bro. You know, like a cool bro.
Which from a character development perspective, it doesn't really fit any of his character arc.
Yeah, it doesn't. The way I saw people explain it is just that he was hanging around Earth people too much, and
I think so.
Just adopted their
that's an understandable thing, and also Taika Waititi is a far better director than anybody else who had Thor on him before. No, I will fight anyone. Joss Whedon and whoever the fuck else directed the first Thor movies. Taika Waititi is better. No. Period. No. I was thinking Taika Waititi would be a great director for Deadpool 3. I don't know if I told you that. I think that would be a match made in heaven.
Yeah, that is true. I think that'd be good.
The first two Deadpools, they're all right. They're good, generally.
Let's petition it.
But I feel like an actual comedy director would be better.
Change.org.
Anyway.
Yeah, bro, this is the one that got fucking crazy with everything. They finally
said, fuck it. That was great.
Yeah, really. They really finally said, fuck it. Went to all balls out crazy with everything. I'm so glad that they didn't spend as much time on Earth as they normally would have. Because you already know.
The very beginning part.
Yeah, and it was cool because Doctor Strange was there. It was a good fitting cameo. He had the gloves. They look good. I don't know why people think they don't.
And then they leave him out again. Does he have an Infinity War?
No, he doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah, it really do be like that sometimes.
They look good. I don't understand.
They look a little bulky on his hands.
Okay, all right.
I think it was also probably just an excuse not to have to do hand makeup on him. Because Infinity War, he has to have like little scars and stuff.
But yeah, there's Surtur here. He's a character I'm aware of.
Is he actually? He's an actual thing. I thought he was just like a one-off creature.
No, he's a thing.
That's the interesting thing about Phase 3 is I kind of just like stopped caring about the comic book connections and just watch the movies, and it's like, oh yeah, Wong is like Stephen Strange's like well-known sidekick. Mm-hmm. And you kind of see him develop and show up in Infinity War. Who all gonna be there? What will you do? Okay, bye.
Oh man.
Anyway, that's unrelated to Ragnarok, but Ragnarok is fucking great.
No, it is, honestly. Like, even this beginning scene, the first opening scene kind of sets you up for it all. That fight scene is
Immigrant Song.
Oh, it's just so good, man.
He fights off a faceless army just like the Avengers had to do before.
Yeah.
And ultimately, this whole movie is basically just setting up Thor to be one of the most powerful Avengers.
No, and man, look, this...
Which already kind of was.
No, but
he gets a...
It was very vague,
No, but he gets a power up at the end. He gets a buff.
No. And look, and let me tell you, this is the movie that made you go, yeah, Thor's a fucking badass.
Oh, this is the first movie that made people think, oh, Thor's cool.
Yeah. Kind of like how the Winter Soldier made people go like, yeah, Captain America, he's badass. This one made people go, damn.
Thor's cool.
He's like, I'll still watch that last third act. It's one of the rare third acts that is like still super good, because like as soon as he gets that power up, and he goes around kicking people's ass, like it's some badass stuff, man. But yeah, like it's funny. It's funny as fuck. I don't know. There's some people that actually compare this movie to fucking Batman and Robin. There's some people that think the movie's stupid because it just tries to be funny.
I think you just follow stupid people.
Look, honestly,
is there a character arc to this movie besides like, hey, you're more powerful, then you don't need a hammer?
It's really that dependency on the hammer, and kind of like realizing who he is now. As like
king. What are you, the god of hammers?
As king? No, because it also just kind of solidifies everything because he's lost everything.
This was the movie to kind of we're gonna fucking destroy Asgard. Which is, I think, a direction I didn't expect them to go in for like the final act of like, we're skipping around a lot. I don't give a shit. Of we have to cause Ragnarok. I was like, huh. And I'm so happy they did that as opposed to doing a Ragnarok from the comics, which is a robot Thor.
Oh yeah.
That people said they were gonna do. I'm like, fuck no. Yeah. And instead they do a Planet Hulk storyline with some Asgard stuff.
Oh yeah, that too. Okay, so Hulk. Gotta talk about him. Good addition. Very. Yes. I think.
Also, I feel like this is another movie where it's like, fuck it, Hulk's in the movie. Deal with it.
Yeah, one of those. Yeah, like you were saying with Black Widow and Captain America. Well, for one, they can't give him his own movie because Universal. But so they kind of had to. But it's a good fit. I think they work
closest to a Planet Hulk storyline you'll ever get. So deal with it.
Yeah, and honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I'd rather they just not have done it because
now they can't ever do a Planet Hulk storyline.
They can't.
Which apparently is way darker.
It is. No, it is. Excuse me. It's at the end of it. I think this is World War Hulk. I think because they had sent him out.
He takes over the planet and then goes back to take over Earth. I think succeeds.
Yeah, like any fucking like he comes back.
And Meek is like evil apparently.
Huh?
Meek is like evil. Like Meek is just like a throwaway thing in here, but I think he's like an actual like.
Oh yeah.
He's like an antagonist, I think, in that storyline.
Yeah,
they did the best they could. They include the Grandmaster, made him Jeff Goldblum as Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah,
he's funny.
No, he's fucking funny, man.
He's funny, but the thing is, okay, the only thing that I'll say about the comedy, because I love this movie, I loved it to death, and I loved it when it came out. The only thing is that, and I noticed this a lot with my rewatches this time around, is that having seen these movies at least twice a piece, is the jokes aren't as funny.
Oh, okay. No, I mean, I still laugh.
No, and the jokes are great. I'm not saying the jokes are bad. It's just a matter of once you've seen them once or twice, it's like it's not going to be funny anymore. So eventually, over time, it's just going to be like, okay, I probably need to wait a while before seeing this movie again, because once I've seen the Ragnarok a few times, it's just
also depends how close together you watch it, you know. Because I mean, yeah, I haven't seen this movie in a while. I have seen it like 3 times in total now. But every time I watched it, it was like maybe 2 months in between. But it still made me laugh.
No, it's a great movie. It's just like
I think you're hating.
I think I just know the jokes is the thing.
I mean, also there is some that you know that like the Shake Wig one. I remember I didn't like that one.
That was a dumb joke.
Yeah, it's just kind of like
it's unnecessary.
Yeah, frankly, quite graphic.
Shut up.
Honestly, I don't.
Not the monster penis.
I don't care for it. Oh man, see this. We're watching that scene where they're impersonating where
basically the end of Dark World.
Yeah,
with Matt Damon.
Matt Damon and the third Hemsworth. That nobody knows.
Oh, it's Thor?
Yeah.
Is that who that is?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
And they have fucking, what is it, Sam Elliott? Is that his name? The Jurassic...
Oh, yeah. He's Odin. I noticed that on this...
Wait, I didn't Elliott. No, that's not his name.
No, Sam Elliott's the guy
from
A Star is Born.
That's Ross.
Jurassic Park. Let's see the cast. It's such a dumb cameo. Let's see.
Wait, it's right there. Oh, wait.
Why was Chris Pratt listed?
Sam Neill.
Sam Neill. Yeah, he also has a cameo as Odin, which I'd never noticed before. Overall, the Asgard stuff goes pretty quick. They immediately kill the Warriors 3, which is like...
Yeah, that's a big fuck you to them.
That is a huge fuck you. And I'm like, that's the only thing where I'm like that was mean, you didn't have to do that.
If I was one of them...
That is literally a middle finger to Thor fans. Like,
yeah, really.
I don't give a shit. I'm not a Thor fan.
No, but still, like...
It's part of the whole theme of this, like, let the old world burn, essentially.
Yeah, but I just remember thinking, like, that's straight up disrespectful. Like
a little bit.
If I was in that movie, I would be like, are y'all fucking kidding me?
They don't even show Civ either.
Yeah, no, I think
and she's not going to be in Endgame.
Yes, she is.
She didn't get a poster. Valkyrie got a poster.
Stop.
They said, "Oh, Valkyrie, we can have a love interest, a slight love interest with a character that's interesting and is a badass all on her own." Yeah, I think let's go with that. So yeah, Valkyrie. Valkyrie's cool. She's a drunkard ex-Valkyrie.
She's hot.
Who just exists in Sakaar to try to die a long death because Asgardians live forever.
Damn, that's kind of depressing.
Yeah, she literally says, "I'm trying to drink myself to death," and and she's been there. She's been there presumably a while. She fought Hela, has PTSD from that. Loki reactivates that like kind of an asshole, and she hates Loki after that. Yeah. This movie's kind of funny because they try to form their own Avengers. Yeah. Which is like it gets super well, he calls it the Revengers. And it gets super meta if you think about it, and they actually but the stupid thing is they still do it. So it's like it's meta in that they're like, hey, we're gonna do the Avengers, but they do it.
Yeah.
They get Valkyrie, they get Loki, and it's Hulk and Thor. I mean, like it's not like, you know, it's not a civil war, but like they're still gathering some heroes.
I still think that was a good team up.
No, for sure, and that whole final fight scene is especially from the part where Thor gets, you know, his God of Thunder upgrade.
Yeah. Oh, what a!
And the Immigrant song comes back on. And
that is top 5 scenes.
What are you the god of again? He doesn't ever answer her. He just
he does.
Yeah,
he's just like
he goes I don't think he says that.
I'm glad they gave him the haircut.
This movie's just so fucking clever. Yeah.
I don't know. His old hair pisses me off now every time I see it.
It's just what I'm used to now at this point. I wish he had a helmet. I think I've said that since Thor 1, but I wish he had the helmet more. Which he kind of does. They reference it a little bit in the arena.
The whole, which is a good thing too. Yeah, no, the whole movie, I think other than that, really, there's not much else, but it's
just a good, funny movie. Yeah. I don't want to spoil.
Solidify.
I mean, we did spoil, like, the ending, the twist in the movie, but the only person we didn't talk about was Hela, but that, I guess that's kind of telling. Yeah. I like her as a villain.
No, I mean, she's alright. She's just okay.
I think she's similar to Ronan, and that she's meant to be kind of a very straightforward villain, but you actually kind of get her motivation in this movie. I think her motivation is better than Ronan's. Sure. Because it's like, hey, you know, Odin, he was kind of a piece of shit in the past, which plays into, hey, let's let the past burn and do something new. And which is even more symbolic because they destroy Asgard, which is like this old Viking motif for a spaceship, which is a sci-fi motif. So they do a lot of subtle, depending on if you can figure if it's on purpose or not, but there's a lot of new world, like old going to new kind of stuff, which plays into Thor going from the old-fashioned Shakespearean guy to the dude bro with a hammer. Yeah, I don't know what else there's to say.
Yeah, there's really not much. This movie sucks.
What do you give it?
10 out of 10. It even references the Infinity Gauntlet thing.
Oh yeah, fake.
Yeah, fake.
I love this movie when it came out, but honestly, this viewing it felt almost just like an obligation. Wow. I liked it. I loved it. Wow. I loved it watching it. It's just like
you heard it here far. You heard it here first, folks. Wow.
Also give it a 10.
Nah,
I give it a 10.
Don't be
I'm thinking about my first experience. I love this movie and thought it was one of my favorite MCU movies, watching it from the front row of the theater. So if that says anything, I'll give it a 10. I was thinking about giving it a 9.5, but I think it's a 10. I went through and did a count of like all the movies that I think are essential for the MCU, and I counted 10, and this is on it. So yeah, moving on to Black Panther. So Eric, you want to go ahead and explain why you're racist?
Whoa, hold up.
It's a bit. Now,
hold up.
Eric, I'm not cutting that.
Stop.
You think I'm gonna listen to 2 hours of you memeing?
I'm not.
And looking at text messages? I want everyone to hear everything here. Those of you sticking around for 2 hours, there's none of you. This is the kind of exciting content you get, like me jokingly accusing Eric of being racist. It's now past midnight because Eric took so long to get here, and we're 2 hours in.
Look, we're close. We're almost there.
It took us almost 2 hours to get through 5.
Look, Ant-Man and the Wasp is just gonna be nah.
No, I disagree. I disagree.
And okay,
wait, are they considering Spider-Man Far From Home part of Phase 3?
They are. Yeah, it's the ending.
No, bad. No.
Why is that bad?
Endgame is in the title of. No, that's off. I'm not gonna listen to that.
It was literally.
I'm gonna tell Marv.
It was confirmed today.
That's a stupid fucking thing. I'm pissed at learning that. I'm looking at the list now. That's fucking stupid.
I trust it.
It's better than Ant-Man 3 being there, I guess.
Yeah.
That's always the post Avengers spot is always the one where they put like go ahead.
Anyway,
that's annoying.
We're now on Black Panther.
Yes.
This movie is culturally, I think,
significant.
Yeah, significant. All around, I think this is one of the, I don't know, this movie has so much to it, like just as far as importance, what it meant to people. I think this had the most social impact, because me being a minority, representation, it matters. Before I never thought that. I didn't care. They always said like, "Oh, don't you want to see a Mexican hero on the screen?" I was like, "Whatever, not really. I don't really care." But after seeing like the response from people, from like black friends that I have, like you could tell it meant a lot to them and to everyone in general. Just because especially this came out at a time where racial tensions were and are still a little high. With certain things going on. I think this movie, in a way, it's kind of safe, but at the same time, it ventures out into.
Oh yeah, I mean, like ultimately the villain's motivation is to start a race war for one, but it's also very racially motivated.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's any coincidence that the main character's suit takes damage and pushes it back out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Supposed
like it. Although, it's almost kind of like the Luke Cage metaphor of like he's bulletproof.
Right.
And
although, I'm not a big fan of that too. But
Luke Cage?
No, he's great. No, I'm talking about the fact that the suit is like kinetic, because I think I
thought that was an interesting touch. I personally like the suit design of Civil War more. Yeah. Because I thought it was more practical and I like the helmet.
Yeah, it's more practical. It's the same thing as Spider-Man. See, like CGI, but that suit in the beginning, his dad, T'Chaka's
that's pretty pretty cool.
That suit is fucking hard. That is a badass suit.
No, I think the suit looks better in this movie than it does in Infinity War. Infinity War looks cheap as hell. Yeah. Like it looks like you can see a seam in the part where he goes Wakanda Forever. In Infinity War.
Right here, yeah.
You can see a seam and it makes it look so cheap. But in this movie it looks fine. I just prefer the design overall. It looks a lot more and I get the fact that it's like nanites and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think doing that kind of really it's kind of OP, doing that kinetic thing.
I think that's fine. I mean, he's another superhero. In general.
But as far as
it makes it more unique for sure.
Yeah, that's true. As far as cultural significance, like this movie, I think, like the impact. I guess the baggage it had too, just because it had to prove itself more than a regular movie, because of course there were a lot of people already against this.
There's all those pieces of shit who will say if this movie didn't do well, then.
Exactly.
And even like on the movie executive side, like we got to just cast white dudes.
Yeah, it already took like this long for that movie to be made,
Yeah.
Because they,
same with Captain Marvel, it's the same kind of. Which is a weird thing that I heard in like the roundtable that I was watching, because Kevin Feige was in it. I was like, the movie industry, just when, because they were talking about I know blacks' rights and women's rights are not the same thing, but from a hiring perspective for a leading role.
No, I mean that and struggle wise, yeah. I mean, yeah.
And I bring this up because we already recorded a Captain Marvel review also, which comes up after this. Yeah. But they were talking about like, movie standards. Like, well, I mean, you're Marvel. You could do Guardians of the Galaxy as an experiment, but you couldn't do Black Panther earlier or Captain.
No, and they had hinted towards Black Panther as early as
Ultron.
No, as early as Iron Man 2. One of the places at the end when he's looking at the maps and stuff.
Well, but they mentioned Wakanda by name in Ultron. And it gets subtly referenced more and more until Black Panther actually shows up in Civil War.
Yeah.
And like I mentioned previously, Black Panther, a.k.a. T'Challa, kind of has a better character arc in Civil War, because it's all about learning revenge and getting over it. So by the time this starts, he's still dealing with the death of his father, but they haven't had the funeral yet, or I think they've had the funeral, but they have the rite of passage to become king.
Right,
hasn't happened yet. So I think from a character perspective, that's a good place to start him at.
No, also, although the thing is, I'd say he's probably the least interesting person in the film, T'Challa. He's very, and that's just in the way he's written. Because I guess it's, I am a fan of how he was written, just very reserved, not very because he's not. There's only one time he ever bursts out, and that's against
Killmonger.
When he's asking the guy who knew his dad what happened, and he's like, "I swore an oath to the king."
Oh yeah,
and then he bursts "Why?"
I think it's more so it's surprising. Yeah, because he is a really reserved character. I think that even carries over into the comics. He's just a very reserved guy.
Yeah, in general, yeah.
if anything, I think they made him have more levity because he makes more jokes in this movie.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Because in the first, the first appearance in Civil War, he was like going out to try to fucking kill Bucky.
Yeah, well, also, you wouldn't, That's...
And this movie, he's able to make jokes and stuff like that, and it's very. I noticed that in this movie overall, a lot of people fucking get killed. And a lot of Wakandans kill each other Wakandans.
Yeah, which is I'll talk about that at the end.
We'll get more to it, but
like as far as I'm one of the people that did enjoy this movie a lot. Both times I saw it,
I liked it better this time around than I did the first time in theaters. I think.
No, but there are some people that think this movie is, for one, either overrated or it just sucks. Like I have a couple friends who hate.
Do you think it deserved to be nominated for Best Picture?
No.
Okay. That's fair.
It's.
I mean, I personally don't think so either. I think, from a filmmaking perspective, I think Infinity War had a much better thing, but that's not why Black Panther was nominated. It was for cultural significance.
Yeah. No, which that is.
So I don't. So I think. While I personally would not have nominated it myself. I have no power whatsoever in the film industry. Mm-hmm. I understand why it was, and I'm happy it was there. I mean, I do think it was kind of dickish for the Academy to let that be up there to try to get they were trying to get views essentially by doing that. And then they gave it to Green Book, which was like the safest option. So they could still not appear racist basically and old.
No, they figure as long as they nominate them, but like this
well, they originally tried to, for future reference to people watching online, if that ever happens, they tried to create a popular movie category basically so Black Panther could win an Oscar.
Yeah.
And people got pissed about it.
It ended up still winning, like, a couple of...
Oh, I think it won quite a few Oscars for, like, visual effects and stuff. I don't know if it won the visual effects one. No, it definitely didn't deserve the visual effects one.
No, hell no. No, but...
Sorry, those rhinos at the end.
Also, yeah, I was
rhinos and
that was nominated, because...
The effects were shockingly bad in this movie.
Yeah, no, like, and some people said they improved upon them in the DVD version, but I don't think so. They still...
I watched the Netflix version.
I have the movie. It still looks pretty shit. Like,
was that a confirmed thing that they actually improved it? I don't think the rhino looked as bad.
I keep hearing they always do that. Like that's normal apparently.
I don't think the rhino looked as bad as in the movie. When I saw it in theaters, I was like, "Wow, that's PlayStation 2 graphics."
Well, it's funny too because I didn't notice any of that. So the first time I watched it, I really enjoyed it. I loved it actually. I remember.
It's interesting because like the effects are really bad in some parts, but in the other parts they're really good.
Yeah.
Like I think Claw's hand effects and the car chase overall, for the most part, are pretty good. There's some parts in the car chase that are pretty bad, but at the same time, there are parts in the car chase that are great. Yeah. But then at the same time, you have that, and you have the first time he has the King's trial, where somebody comes to challenge him, and it pans up, and you just see like all these people like on 2D planes just put up. And I was like, wow, that looks really bad.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but when I first saw it, I none of the CGI bothered me actually. Because I saw this for the first time with my ex, and whenever we used to have these discussions after, and so I asked her like, hey, so what do you think of it? And she actually didn't like it that much because she said a big part of it was that the CGI like took her out of the movie a lot. She was saying, especially at the end, like with the whole underground train sequence. And
that part still looks bad.
Yeah, no, and then
what did you just click?
Oh, my adapter. So, yeah, I mean, upon the second viewing, I totally noticed too. Like the rhinos look terrible. That pan up shot looks terrible for them. I think the city, the shot that we're watching right now, where they first enter the Wakanda, like honestly.
I think the effects of them entering the city are still fine. I think the shots of the ship flying are fine.
Yeah.
And that's what's really confusing about the movie is some parts are great, some parts are
also
really bad.
The thing is, they probably, because Infinity War also came out, that year. So maybe
you could maybe argue that they were working on that as well. Maybe.
Well, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
But it's like, but you have to judge a movie on its individual merits. You can't use that excuse of like...
Yeah, but see, look at that. Like, look at the city. I don't know. It just looks kind of. It doesn't look. And then also on top of that,
I think it's fine. I think the city is like the least thing to complain about.
Also, like it's not explored at all. It's kind of like the Thor thing.
No, you see it. You see it inside the city like twice, and it looks like the same. It looks like the same location.
Yeah, it's the same location.
I'm just now thinking about that. I was like, yeah, that.
Yeah.
because you only see it like twice when they actually walk around. And it's with the same actress.
Yeah, it's that yellow, like, hall or whatever not hall, but.
What do you think of the design aesthetic of?
Oh, it's cool.
I think like the building designs, those are neat. Like looking at the city right now.
Yeah, this looks bad.
Some of the style stuff is neat, but some of the technology is stupid.
Okay, like what?
Like the bead. I understand the beads. They have a lot of technology parts. I get that Wakanda's like way far advanced. Having the holograms that are also made out of sand, but are fully colored, change around, but also have technology lines go across them. It just seems like really cluttered visual effects.
No, well, not only that, but it's kind of used as just a plot device because
it's like just have blue holograms like every other movie.
You need someone healed vibranium.
They do use it a lot for kind of everything, like, but I get that it propelled them forward. I get that it has like it's an energy source while it's also just a really tough metal.
Yeah, I think this movie. I think the overall cultural part of it, like, kind of overweighed. Like at that point, this wasn't just a movie.
No, for sure.
This was like,
and you could argue that it has a pretty, Marvel formula, but I think the cultural aspects, like Killmonger being a pretty good villain.
Yeah, no, I think, although I remember at the time before that, people were comparing him to Heath Ledger, and I was trying to refrain from those because I was like, that's gonna put a big expectation. And so
he's good. I remember liking him more than the first time I watched it, to be honest. Like this time it was just like he doesn't do much. He seems like kind of an asshole in this one, to be honest.
Yeah. What?
Killmonger. Yeah, he just kind of.
What do you mean?
No, he's just like there's like almost no redeeming qualities about him. It's really misguided.
No, I mean, he's straight up. He's trying to do genocide. He says kill Whitey. He does.
But not like kill the whites. He says. I think he's like talking about one guy.
He says Whitey.
He does. His own point.
I remember.
Anyway,
I was offended.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, no, I acted at least. Although
he acts well. It's just like the character.
Actually, for the most part, it is one note, just angry.
Yeah.
Yeah, just literally.
He's angry and a better fighter.
No, and then when he's sad in the dream, not the dream, but the afterlife.
I do appreciate that, and I think that's what helps him be not a one-dimensional villain, because it has a scene that doesn't involve the main character. It's just revolves around the villain, going through his own emotional, trying to find out, which makes it really interesting, and because it also brings into question a lot of like the Wakandan like mythology, because you see T'Challa become the Black Panther again after his first trial, and it's like, oh, he's in the afterlife with his dad. But then you see Killmonger go through the same thing, and it's like totally different. It's not really the afterlife; it's just his vision of the past. So I don't know if that's kind of how I interpreted it. Is like, okay, so the afterlife isn't as real, and is that even really T'Challa's dad? You know what I mean?
Oh no, I think it is. I think it kind of works like the Soul World.
I don't know. I think it was just the interpretation that like he's viewing that because that's what he's used to, whereas Killmonger, who is not used to that culture, sees something entirely different, which is kind of a commentary on religion and basically how you view your own culture and stuff like that.
Also, another thing, Claw wasted.
I think it was kind of neat.
No, but he's a prominent Black Panther villain.
Is he? Well,
yeah, he is, and it's one of those other things where they just kill him off halfway.
I think it was to show that Killmonger's a worse villain, ultimately.
No, I mean, he's coming back.
Who, Claw or Killmonger?
Killmonger.
He died.
He's confirmed to come back. Also, because the
I get he was popular, but that's just like
excuse is that we didn't see him die.
Yeah, you do. You see him slump over.
That's it. We never actually see them.
He literally wants to die. That's part of his character arc. Is that he
didn't see him being buried.
He literally has the line.
Did not see him.
That's terrible. That's terrible logic. He literally says, "Throw my body in the ocean."
Did they show that?
No, but the other thing that he says after that, he literally talks about slaves jumping into the water because it's better than slavery. If they actually do bring Killmonger back, that really upsets me about his character arc.
It's confirmed.
That's really lame.
He's like, they even said like, "Hey, aren't you dead?" And he was like, "Eh, don't worry about it."
Yikes. I think overall this movie is pretty. Overall, doesn't do much for the movie besides like Wakanda opening up. But like, even if they didn't have that as a character arc in Black Panther, them showing up in Wakanda would have been pretty much the same no matter what. Yeah. In Infinity War, they have basically a very similar shot of them going into the city. Yeah, I understand why culturally it's important. But overall, it's a pretty standard movie with pretty questionable CGI in parts.
No, very questionable.
It has good CGI in some parts, which is,
Yeah, although I give it an 8 out of 10.
An 8? I give it a 7.
Folks.
Originally, before I watched it again, I thought I was going to give it like a 6 or a 6.5.
Oh, folks, can you pick me up? Oh,
I give it a 7. I give it a 7. So 7.5 average.
Oh my god.
Any score above 5 is still better than average. Fun fact. That's how numbers work. That's how my rating system works. I always start at 5 and go up or down depending on how I feel. That's how I'm pretty much always going to be doing it. All right, cool. So Black Panther. Now we're going to move on to the most important movie of the entire MCU.
I don't even want to do Ant-Man.
Ant-Man and the Wasp. You stole my bit and stole the thunder out of it because I was going to say that. Because I actually do want to do Ant-Man and the Wasp first.
Okay.
Ant-Man and the Wasp, I just watched again for the second time. Eric broke the rules and didn't actually watch the movie.
I watched half of it. Honestly,
today, recently.
That's all I needed to do.
I skimmed through it a little bit.
Because
I'll be honest, I skipped through the boring parts that I knew were boring, like the part where he fights Ghost 1-to-1, and I was like, this is.
Yeah.
I don't want to. Paul Rudd's not doing good when he's just having a fist fight.
Paul Rudd can only do so much.
Paul Rudd's fucking great.
He's great, but he can only carry.
I thought the writing was way worse in this movie. I thought the writing in this movie would be way worse without Edgar Wright. It's not that bad.
Yeah, but
it's not that bad.
It's one of those just bland movies. Like no.
I disagree.
Really? So what's Peyton Reed's vision, huh?
I'm not saying Peyton Reed is still a director for hire.
Yeah, that's all he is.
There's not very much creative.
There's no like.
I would say looking right now, I was gonna say shout out to the writers, and I'm looking and there's about 5 of them.
Yeah. I can tell.
Well, I think are like Stephen McFeely. Are they like supervisors for the scripts, or I don't know. Oh well. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is there's like the 5 different people, which I guess kind of makes sense given given the movie.
Yeah, you can tell. I think just straight up, it's if you're into if you just want to see a comedy, I don't even think it's that funny enough to warrant it just for that.
I think there's plenty of funny parts in this movie.
Yeah, there is, but like to just watch it for the comedy, just to laugh, like you'd have to still skip through a lot of parts. Villain is absolutely just fucking like we were on a good streak.
Oh, Ghost is like
we were on a good streak, and that just again you could have done so much. It plays it safe, especially at the end with the whole again no consequence. They end up getting both people, and then you got the whole bullshit healing particle. Quantum healing particles.
There's a lot of hey, science did it, like quantum stuff. I get the quantum excuse.
Everyone defends this movie just saying
no, they don't. Everyone says this is the worst movie of the MCU.
No, everyone. No, I'll send you some retweets later.
I'm gonna be the controversial opinion. I like this movie a little bit. Okay. You know what? I'd watch this movie over Thor 1 any day of the week.
Wow.
Having watched it again just now, I would absolutely watch it over Thor 1. That is
fucking ridiculous. You're wrong.
Thor was a 5.
You're literally wrong. Like you need help.
I think they use their powers in infinitely more creative ways. The fight scenes with the Wasp are not necessarily always creative, although they do some creative stuff. Her choreography is good generally. The part where she fights people in a car and she jumps out the window and goes back in the window, shrinks back down.
Sure, I can watch that clip.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool, huh?
Yeah, it's just cool.
The parts where Ant-Man becomes Giant Man, those are pretty neat. Yeah, I thought he did that way early in the movie, but he only does it once.
Nothing. It's meh. It's nothing. It's you literally just watch for the post-credit scene. I
didn't go see it in theaters. I memed on this movie a lot throughout the entire process of this podcast. Ultimately, wasn't that bad, and it was definitely not the one that I disliked the least.
That's the one movie I will never revisit again. I just remember after I left, I was just like, wow,
you know,
this was just unnecessary. But
I'll probably come back to it. I'll probably watch it after Endgame. I'll be like, let me have a wholesome family time. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Wow.
The villain's basic as shit. I think overall the comedic chemistry between all of the actors is pretty good.
The other villain too sucks.
What?
Yeah, the corporate one.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying that the Ant-Man has good villains. I'm trying to find anything creative. I think Paul Rudd and his interactions with Paul Rudd. I think Scott Lang and his interactions with Hope and Hank Pym are pretty good. Hank Pym and Hope kind of act a lot like the same character a lot of the time because they have the same motivations, and they kind of treat Scott like an idiot most of the time, which he is.
Yeah,
he does.
Yeah, they really degrade him in this movie. They do him wrong.
But I guess it's the point because, like, say Paul Rudd wasn't dumb.
Yeah.
Every other character is a smart genius, sarcastic asshole.
I guess, but isn't he doesn't need to be like dumb per se.
He's a family man, which is a change up. His daughter's adorable. His interactions with the family are really adorable. His ex-wife and her husband entirely changed character.
Oh. Yeah.
Where like they're both entirely on his side. And she like her bit for the entire movie is like, you guys can't do that. And she does that multiple times throughout the movie. Her husband, his bit is like being extra friendly and hugging him, basically cucking him in a hug. Yeah, I mean, it's a super basic movie. There's, the weird Southern guy villain. Yeah, probably wasted because that guy can be a pretty good actor too.
Yeah, just the absolute most fucking basic.
Sciences movie, really weird. There's one part where they're where Ant-Man has to break out Hope and Hank from a prison or jail. Yeah. And he brings her the suit, drops it, and it grows, and she puts on the suit. And Hank's like, "What about me?" And then a security uniform unshrinks in 4 separate parts. Like the sunglasses is there by itself, the hat's by itself, and the uniform is by itself. It's like, okay, well, how did you do that? There's no effects. It just grows. So I feel like a lot of stuff gets kind of like just brushed over for science. But overall, I think the Wasp costume, it's not that bad.
Nah, should have kept the one from the first.
It's just a little desaturated. The blue's just a little desaturated. That's the only difference.
No, there's no yellow either.
Yeah, there's yellow in it.
Look at it; it's different.
It's just they're way less desaturated. No, I know they're somewhere though.
Yeah, fuck this one.
What's his name? Fishburne, whatever.
Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah, Fishburne. He's a little wasted. He's like, hey, I was Goliath.
Yeah, like you think you'd want to see a fucking.
Hey, I was Red Skull back in the day. Could you imagine like any character having that kind of backstory? You'd be like, hey, I was this character. Did you know that? And that's all the reference to that character there is.
The quantum realm stuff was cool, I guess.
The effect's kind of weird because it makes the screen really blurry. Yeah. Like I get they were trying to go for like a different aesthetic, and it kind of helps the effects not like show as much. It's kind of an excuse.
Yeah. Also, even Paul's
Janet Van Dyne comes back. She's pretty much a Mary Sue. She's just like kind of perfect in every way. She's like, oh yeah, I want to save everybody. I saved you with my healing hands. Don't worry that you tried to kill me. I'm perfectly fine.
Oh, Janet, I thought you were talking about isn't that the actress who?
Oh
no, it's Evangeline Lilly. Oh,
yeah. Well, Hope Van Dyne's also kind of a Mary Sue. She's kind of like more stubborn about it. She does everything perfectly.
You hate female characters.
I love the Wasp in this movie. The Wasp is great in this movie. And I think she got totally fucking cucked when it comes to Infinity War.
Yeah, and also, Ant-Man wasn't in Infinity War.
Oh, I know, but even Endgame too. She should not have gotten dusted.
She should have been in Civil War.
Did she have a poster for Endgame?
No, I don't think so. Well, I don't know, maybe. Oh yeah, you're right. She probably did.
I think she did.
Yeah.
Because the thing was, they usually had like somebody, and then like whoever they were close to who died. I hope she has some sort of thing in Endgame, regardless, because I've always known her as the Avengers from watching the shows when I was younger, and I think she'd be a great addition ultimately. I mean, I think she has. I mean, not that it's much of a competition, but she kind of has more of a personality than Captain Marvel.
Wow.
They both play very similar characters. Oh, come on. You're doing a bit.
Keaton
Stop. You're doing a bit.
hates powerful, strong female characters.
I like Captain Marvel.
I cannot believe what I'm hearing. You heard it here first.
I'm happy that there are more women in the Avengers now.
Canceled.
Wait, besides Black Widow, were there any female Avengers in Infinity War? Like, legitimately.
Scarlet Witch.
Okay, yeah. And then I guess Okoye.
Shuri.
Is Shuri an Avenger?
Wow. You heard it here first.
See, okay, I was wondering.
To say no words.
No. I thought they all performed really well. And no, I thought the Wasp was great. See, that's the thing that I was thinking at the very end of the movie when I finished it and saw the end credit scene where, spoilers, it ties into Infinity War, and everyone but Ant-Man gets dusted from the main crew, including Janet Van Dyne, who has only been there for about 5 minutes. It's just like, damn, like any one of those characters could have had really interesting interactions.
Yeah. Like
Janet knows the quantum realm.
Yeah,
Hank Pym has a history with Stark and was the first fucking Ant-Man. Mm-hmm. And the Wasp, who is an infinitely better superhero in some cases than the Ant-Man. But I get that that's to contrast Ant-Man against, all the groups of heroes when it comes to Endgame. I get what they're doing. Mm-hmm. It's just like, damn. And I really hope that she comes back, and I hope she has some sort of role in the next Avengers phase, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I think she will. I think she'll be like a big part of it. She'll probably be like
What do you think? What do you think the next movie is going to be called?
What do you mean?
The third it's Ant-Man and the Wasp. You can't call it Ant-Man and the Wasp 2. You're going to call it the Wasp and Ant-Man? Giant Man and the Wasp?
Maybe.
I'm kind of leaning towards that one. That's probably the most likely one.
Yeah.
If they follow the same format.
Yeah, but I give this a straight up probably 3.
A 3?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that's just me though.
A 3.
Yeah.
You know what? I'd give this movie. I'd give it a 6.
A 6?
Yeah,
You seem to have really enjoyed it. Are you sure?
Oh, I know it's not perfect, and I'm like trying to think. Well, I still see Ultron and Iron Man 2 are both at 6.5. I'm trying to think of that. Fuck it, 6.5. Fuck the metric.
So what does that even do?
No,
4?
Fuck it for math's sake. I give it a 6. Okay, I give it a 6. Averages out to like 4.5. Right?
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
No, yeah.
4, yeah.
4.5. There we go. 4.5 for Ant-Man and the Wasp. The most important movie. There's no other movies to talk about.
I'm so fucking sad. Yes, I am.
It's 1 a.m. and you're screaming.
I want to die. Yes, I do. Dun, dun, dun.
Wow, I'm glad. Aren't you glad you stuck around for almost more than 2.5 hours to hear that bit?
This is literally a perfect movie. I'm gonna go on a limb and just say that
it wasn't fun, honestly.
Oh,
we're talking about the best movie, Shang-Chi. I'm just kidding. Okay, we're talking about Infinity War now, boys. The real meat and potatoes.
This
the movie that we've literally been waiting to talk about since the very fucking first podcast.
Bro. This movie is everything to me, man. So look,
honestly.
Clearly,
okay, one disclosure I want to make, because we're about to gush over this movie for however long. Mm-hmm. I didn't like it as much as this last time watching it. I think ultimately it was because I'd seen it so many times last year.
Yeah.
So ultimately, I know everything about it. I know almost the entire story structure. So watching it this time was more so just to say, hey, I watched Infinity War before Endgame. and to have the context, I guess. But for the most part, I knew everything by this part. But goddamn, it's a great movie. Best Avengers, hands down.
This
one of the biggest cinematic achievements of all time.
Yes,
undoubtedly,
that's exactly that.
Undoubtedly.
The movie changed everything.
The one that everyone thought was going to be a clusterfuck.
If you were a nerd, you were cool now. Even the chicks knew about this. This is the one that this is a fucking accomplishment of a movie, man. It's literally like 10 years. I remember I first saw the trailer, I teared up. The second trailer, I mean, okay, to be fair, I cry a lot, but but like the second trailer, like, dude, I had never been more excited for a movie in my life, and this was the best theater experience I've ever had.
It was pretty great.
Yeah, like it was literally like a concert, man. Like, because I was in an IMAX theater, I remember, so I was with my ex, and she didn't like for me to really like kind of gush, and get loud, because I would tend to kind of just like
yeah, I don't remember too much about the theater experience. This movie, the one thing that about the actual theater experience, besides like the fact that everyone got silent near the ending.
Yeah.
When the ending happens, which everyone knows about.
Yeah.
Because everyone saw this movie in the world. The snapping, the decimation, whatever they decided to call it. The decimation is a stupid name, by the way.
No, it's not. It sounds badass.
The decimation, by definition, is to reduce by 10.
It sounds badass.
I understand that, but it's not actually factually correct.
You reduced it by tens 5 times. There's 5 fingers on a hand. Infinity Gauntlet.
It's not how tenths. If you were to take something away by 10th, if you take another 10th away from that, that's not a 10th.
Okay.
That's like 0.9 or whatever.
Okay.
We're getting into math here. You want to judge me on my stats.
Oh my god.
That math was probably way off. But you know what I meant.
But this movie, man, it's everything to me. It's like it's
a huge clusterfuck. It's awful.
I have watched this 6 times.
I've watched it at least 4 full times.
It never gets old. Right now, we're watching the beginning where fucking Thanos like, oh man, it's so
where he
good.
Fights Hulk and
he fucking lays.
I think that was ultimately the thing, to be like, oh, I wonder if Hulk is as strong as Thanos, and he fucking lays out the Hulk
like in the first couple minutes. And then, this makes the ending of Ragnarok that much sadder, because you realize...
Oh, yeah, Asgard's dead. But only half.
Half of them got fucking killed.
But they don't show that. They show pretty much everyone being dead. So it's... I know they're going to show something in Endgame, like, oh yeah, here's what happened on the other ship. Anyway.
It's getting late.
It is. It's 1 a.m.
Yeah.
We had to wait till talk about our favorite movie until now.
No, but this movie, man, the pacing is perfect, acting is perfect, interactions are perfect. It's everything.
Interactions are perfect. The only person who's acting is objectively not the best is Robert Downey Jr.
What do you mean objectively not acting?
It's not the best. Everyone's acting their ass off, but the worst one out of everybody acting their ass off is Robert Downey Jr.
Are you serious?
Yes. In some parts, he's kind of going through the motions.
No. Especially since that's Robert Downey Jr.
No, but he has. There are some parts where he's just like doing the Tony Stark thing, but there are some parts where he like really pushes into it. You know what I mean? Man. Like if you throw another fucking moon at me, I'm gonna lose it. I wish he actually said fuck in that scene.
Yeah.
Can they say fuck in the new Endgame? Can they say fuck in Endgame?
You're allowed, for a PG-13 rating, you're allowed 2 fucks.
It's 1 fuck.
Now
you're allowed like 2 or 3 shits, but you're allowed 1 fuck. Also, a lot of Phase 3 movies said shit a lot. Just in general.
Man, this movie...
I think they did a lot in Infinity War. I think they said shit a lot.
This movie makes you realize like how much of a fucking bitch Loki is. Because I remember
Loki had a hero, like this was his hero thing.
No, I'm saying because he took the fucking Tesseract,
and
that's why that happened.
He wanted it.
Yeah, why? Leave that shit alone.
Because he's Loki.
Exactly. Like, what a little fucking shit, like seriously.
How was he supposed to know that Thanos was gonna find him?
Oh my god. Fuck you.
Wow.
Yikes. Anyways,
Wow.
it's getting late. Just cut that out. Just cut that out.
No.
You know where it is.
You know what they cut out in the movie?
What?
Him destroying Xandar. That would have been pretty cool to see.
Yeah, but they said it was like, it's already too long at this point. But
No, I know.
nah, they could have made this shit 3 hours. I would have been there still.
Well, you know what is 3 hours?
Oof.
Ant-Man and the Wasp 3.
Okay.
It's fucking late, boys. It's fucking late. All right, Infinity War.
I'm out of here.
What is your objective favorite part of the movie?
The fight with Thanos on Titan.
That's great. That's good.
But also Thor's entrance to Wakanda.
Oh, that was one of my fucking favorite parts of the movie.
Oh my god, the theater lost it at that part. Like,
because it has the Avengers thing for one of the first times in the entire movie.
yeah. No, and like that Avengers team has gotten more and more epic, like over.
Well, yes, from a composition perspective, but also they used it really sparingly.
No, yeah.
Which I think was on purpose, and I think it'll probably get more use come, Endgame,
Yeah. Weirdly enough, I thought I'd have more to say about this movie, but honestly, like it's just
good. Everyone does it's hard to single anything out because we'll be here for hours if we're just talking about.
Yeah, no, but I mean
the interactions between all the characters that you weren't expecting. Rocket Raccoon and Thor is good. You get to see Rocket be a sympathetic character which is interesting now to think about it because like you actually see the fallout of the character arc that Rocket Raccoon went through. Of all the fucking funny things, a fucking CGI Bradley Cooper raccoon had a character arc to not be an asshole, and he actually gives a shit about Thor's feelings.
No, and then again, Thor, like he's
Loki has a character arc being the villain of Avengers 1, which I think is also like a power thing of like, hey, here's the villain of Avengers 1 getting killed by the villain of Avengers 3.
Oh, yeah. And he says no resurrections.
Well, that's just a reference.
No, to what?
The fact that he's come back from the dead like 2 times.
Exactly. So another serious thing being like, hey, yeah, we recognize we're always doing this.
I think that was more so just a reference to his character in general.
Wow. No, I mean, there's that. It also sets up Thanos to be a badass because he kills Heimdall.
Yeah.
And then
he takes the staff to do it too. He doesn't even let. He wanted the blood for that.
Oh.
Yeah, like he took the other guy's staff to kill him with the staff.
Yeah. What else were we talking about? Oh yeah,
the interactions,
like Tony with Thanos finally.
Well, yeah, but Tony with Doctor Strange and Spider-Man.
Well, as far as
and
Iron
Iron Man,
as far as the arc goes, I don't know because you realize he went from like a selfish
asshole to trying to save the universe.
Yeah, to literally fucking going hand to hand
on what he assumes to be a suicide mission.
Made a god bleed.
It is interesting that he was the only one who made him bleed.
Yeah.
But also that's like the scariest fucking thing is like all that for a drop of blood. He's like, fuck.
Again, bro, it's the quotable moments, just, all the memes that came out of this, like 10 years in the fucking make, like this is everything it could have been and still a bit more. Cause this could have been, a Justice League. It could have been,
they're smarter than that.
Nothing,
They actually have somebody in charge who knows what they're doing.
But seriously, just so many moments, man. Everything about it, the pacing, just
the way that Tony Stark interacts with Spider-Man of just like him not wanting him to be there, and just like the small things like, "Hey kid, you're an Avenger now," and he does like the little knighting thing.
Yeah.
Which is such a small moment, but you look at Peter Parker's face, and he gets incredibly happy and doesn't say anything, to realizing how serious that means, like what it means that he's becoming an Avenger, and he gets like more solemn.
Yeah.
All in the space of a few seconds, and it's like so fucking subtle in Tom Holland's performance. And every character has those moments.
Yeah, every character has a moment to shine,
Except for Captain America.
No, I don't know, the train sequence.
He fights somebody, but it doesn't really.
That's a good entrance.
He's gonna have much better moments in Endgame, and you can agree to that. You can agree that he's gonna have much better moments.
Oh man. But yeah,
pretty much everyone in Captain America's storyline kind of got pushed to the back.
Yeah.
Outside of like Vision. And the Scarlet Witch romance with Vision. I totally forgot that was a comic thing.
Yeah. Oh, also she lost the accent. I hadn't.
She lost the accent by Civil War.
No, it's still in Civil War.
No, it's not. It's not.
Oh my God.
It's not.
You're gonna have this argument.
No, it's not gonna be an argument. I'm just gonna tell you it's not and move on.
You're wrong.
Anyway.
But yeah, just all around good moments. Not good, just great. I love this movie, man. I fucking love this movie.
They do things that also try to connect their universe. So for example, I didn't put too much thought into it the first time I watched, but somebody brought up the point that like they gave Spider-Man like the CGI Iron Spider suit, and they also gave Tony Stark the new nanite suit, which is kind of similar to like a Guardians of the Galaxy type, suit. But what you realize is when he interacts with the Guardians of the Galaxy, their color schemes match now. Whenever they actually interact with them, a lot better. Which is just from like a design perspective, it's like, oh yeah, they put thought into this. And then you watch the Endgame trailer, and it's kind of like more the classic suit, but it's more of a topic for that movie. God damn, it's gonna be so good. This movie had everybody shut the fuck up for like 5 minutes straight. Yeah, man. At the very end, getting ending, to the end, man, with the snap. It's
just same. I remember because look,
everybody shut the fuck up. People cried. Spider-Man.
You should have gone for the head, and because everyone at that point they were like, you expect the movie to actually maybe end there because that's usually what happens. The heroes win and stuff. I mean, this movie was pretty much Thanos's like movie, kind of he's basically, he's on his hero's journey.
Well, the thing is, you also, if you look at Thanos and Thor in that scene, it's like who looks like the villain and who looks like the hero.
Yeah, exactly. No, and so whenever I remember, as soon as,
God, it's so good.
Huh?
It's so good. I'm sorry. I'm just watching the scene right now where he's like, Doc, are you moving your hair right now? He's like, not at the moment.
Oh.
And then once they walk out the door, it's a one take. It's a one take.
And the eeriness of it.
Oh, yeah.
Dude,
and also, like, it shows the heroes actually help people out their powers.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for entirely derailing what you're saying.
No, man. I'm telling you.
It's like any part of this movie.
Yeah, it's
good.
Because it puts you also in the place of like point of view kind of how erratic it would be. Like it's scary, man.
Fucking aliens are back again. After
like fuck this, man.
I was like, oh yeah, let's not do this again.
Yeah, like no, man. It's just it's absolutely amazing. Like just the acting in general, just. It's honestly, it's just mainly character moments, man. Like, the whole fight on Titan, especially that scene. I rewatched it again recently with whenever Peter discovers that Gamora was killed and like,
oh yeah,
just the acting is fucking, you can feel the pain.
Yeah.
In his voice, man. Like, and then again, also the end. Exactly. Okay. So at that point, that's where I was at. At that point, you expect the movie to end. Oh, hey, we won. Thanos is dead. But then as soon as he's like, you should have gone for the head, and you hear that snap, I remember everybody in the theater was like, and I remember
they gasped, but then it doesn't immediately start showing people get dusted.
No, because it's the scene where, Gamora's talking to Thanos saying, did you do it? And,
do you think that's the actual Gamora? Trapped in the Soul Stone because she was the sacrifice?
I've heard people say that, but I really don't want it to be.
A lot of people theorize that like, oh, the water in there is actually blood of everyone who got killed.
That's
a stupid thing.
It's not.
No, it's not.
It's not. But that was what they wanted it to do.
No, I think that's dumb.
Why is that dumb? It makes you realize like.
I think it could go either way as to whether or not that's the real Gamora as a sacrifice.
Why do you think the blood is dumb?
Because it's just like
because
they turn into dust. There's no blood.
Okay. All right. It's
also it entirely defeats the purpose of what he's trying to do, which is painless mercy is in his mind.
Yeah, but I'm saying like,
and a lot of people say, and this is going to go on a tangent of something that I want to bring up that a lot of people complain. I feel like that's a lot of the comments I make on this is like a lot of people say, but it's more so like my take on what they say. Some people say like, oh, why doesn't Thanos just make more resources? Yeah, and it's because he's a sociopath or he's a psychopath.
Exactly, yeah.
He's literally called the Mad Titan for a reason. Mm-hmm. Do you really think that the only reason that they wouldn't listen to him is because he was bringing up killing half the population?
Yeah, here's the thing, like he ultimately wants to do what he thinks is best for everybody, but he doesn't mind killing a couple people or two.
No.
You know, like he
and enjoy it.
Yeah, and he kind of enjoys it. You know, it's implied.
Yeah.
But man, this movie's fucking fantastic.
I feel like no matter what time though, I think this movie will always be one that you can just drop in. It's gonna be really weird once this movie has like TV rights and you can just watch this on TV because even now it's just like it took so long for it to be on Netflix and everything like that.
Also, what would you cut? You know,
I hope they don't. I don't know. This movie just feels too good for TV. I don't know.
No, that's true too.
But I feel like what I'm trying to say is like years down the road, you know,
this one changed everything.
This comes on TV. I'm gonna watch it. It's like Titanic. Yeah. You can sit down and watch Titanic at any moment, watch the entire movie and still understand it because you watch it so many times.
We're in the end game now.
This movie made, I think top 4, top 3, top grossing of all time.
Top 4.
Endgame's probably gonna beat it.
We're in folks.
It's kind of a tangent about Endgame here at the end. Do you know 17 AMC theaters are staying open 72 hours?
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's how big this fucking movie is, man. Dude, like I
Okay, is there any complaint you have about this movie? I think Hulk.
I get
not being able to Hulk is dumb.
Yeah, no. So I mean, there's that. There's the fact that we never got to see Tony and Cap interact in this movie.
They were saving it.
Huh? Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, so I get it. I mean,
it's kind of hard to judge it because ultimately, as great as this movie is, and it's fucking perfect, it's still part 1 of 2. It was originally going to be Infinity War Part 1, and I'm glad they changed that.
Yeah, and you know, like, what else? Fuck, what was I saying? What were we talking about?
What?
Fuck. Yeah, it's like, okay.
You know what? We were talking about theaters being open and stuff like that. You know what? Thinking about this movie, this is one of the few times where it's such a different. It has such a non-typical act structure. There's like 5 or 6 different acts in this movie.
Yeah.
It has 3 concurrent storylines, and it doesn't really follow the Marvel formula per se. Because literally, it starts at the very beginning and doesn't stop till the end.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I think is good about the viewing experience for this is the fact that you don't know what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm so happy about watching Endgame, knowing basically nothing. Is it's a 3-hour movie, and I really have no idea where they're going to go with it to save the day.
Oh my god, dude. We're in the end game now, folks.
We're in the end game, and I think coming up on our 3-hour mark, we're getting near the end of this podcast episode and this show in general.
Yeah.
It's been a wild little project. This podcast wasn't 5 hours, at least it was only 3.
Yeah.
How do you feel at 1 a.m?
I'm tired. But
Do you want to film a theory episode after this?
Wait, what?
Do you want to film an Endgame theory episode after this?
No. I decided to. I blocked that word too. Theory. I don't want to know anything.
No, but I'm saying your own theories, knowing nothing.
Well, here's the thing. I'll convince myself that it's right, and that's what's gonna happen, and I'll be like, "Fuck, I spoiled it for me," you know.
You can't spoil it for yourself. That's just you assuming what happens.
No, look, it's exactly.
Wow. So you don't want to even talk Endgame theories? That's cool, dude.
Oh my god. Fine, cool. I'll listen to yours.
It's cool. Oh, that's cool. We're not there yet. We're just talking about Endgame.
Okay, fine.
So that's the entirety of Marvel Phase 3 up to now. Because apparently there's going to be a few more movies. We still have Captain Marvel episode. I have not edited it since we recorded it when the movie initially came out in early March. But yeah, thank you for sticking with us throughout this entire project. If you watched the entire 3-hour episode, I would hope that you would have...
Cut it up.
No.
I'm telling you to cut it
3-hour episode.
No one is going to... This is going to
3
be
hour
at least listen to.
3 hours. I don't give a fuck.
Send me the file. I'll edit it if you want.
No. You won't edit it in time.
I will. I'm off tomorrow.
What a joyous experience. Are you saying that our podcast isn't as good as Endgame? It can't be 3 hours?
Oh, yes, that's what I'm saying. Hell yeah, that's what I'm fucking saying.
I think it's fitting. I wonder how long the Endgame episode's going to be. Because we talked about Captain Marvel. That episode was an hour long. And that was talking about Captain Marvel.
I'm scared.
When are we going to record the Endgame episode, by the way?
Sunday?
It's later, I guess. It's a long time. I wonder if we'll actually like watch it again by the time that rolls around. I'm scared. I'm either going to watch it once and like have to hold off for a while, or I'm going to see it immediately that same weekend again. I don't know what's going to happen. But thank you guys so much for sticking with us for this project. This has been Phase 3, MCU and me. Getting through it together. It's the end game now, where we're here till the end of the line. Other quotes.
Not ready.
You say that off the mic. So yeah, I've been Keaton with the Buzz. I'm joined by Eric. Ick. And bye-bye. Oh wait, shit. Follow us on social media. Yeah, I'm tired. Follow us on social media. Follow us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play. We'll be keeping this up, and after we're done with this, we've discussed it a bit, and we're probably going to do a movie podcast after this, like a regular one, where we're not under any obligations to get out like several episodes a week.
Yeah,
just maybe one. So if we're able to get several done in a week, I think we can manage maybe one a week.
Consistency.
It's
going to be about life advice and relationships.
To be honest, this miniseries hasn't been consistent. The reason we're doing this one big episode is because
It was a good experience.
To be fair, I brought up I had this idea for the series a long time before, but I only brought it up to you like a month or two before, and I was like, "Hey, you want to do this with me?" I had this idea like back in December, but I just didn't start it.
God damn it!
But to be fair, Eric. We weren't as good as friends then. No, we weren't. Now we're friends. We bonded over Marvel movies. What did you say?
Every time I would come into work, you'd be like, "Get out of here, you fucking loser."
I didn't say that.
I'd be like,
Eric, I was trying to have a really wholesome, positive moment in the episode.
And I was like, "Keaton, please," and you were like, "Fuck off, a little pig shit, bitch, motherfucker." And I was like, "Dude, why are you doing this?
Is that how you went in the episode?
Why are you being like this?"
Good night, y'all. Bye.